Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Once again, I wholeheartedly offer whatever suits your time zone. But more importantly, I say blue morning to you because it is the Blue Morning Show. Today, we have quite a few things to talk about. First, we will, do a farewell to Antonio Rudiger, who's been a great servant for our beloved club, Chelsea Football Club. We will also talk about our favorite moments of Antonio Rudiger. Then we will talk about whether the players that the clubs has been linked to are capable of replacing Antonio Rudiger. And I think we're going to have a full house today because I have quite some great, football panelist talents on in the back end, and I'll bring them in after in the introduction. So sit back, relax, and let's get into it. Yes, people, welcome back to our Chelsea Perspective and another Blue Morning Show. I hope you're all doing well. I want to say welcome to everybody on the panel. We have Bobby Smoky Signals, we have Ty Talk CFC, and then we have Nick Blue. How's everyone doing today?
Yeah, good, Coach.
Brilliant. Nice to see you all again. I hope we have a brilliant show today. Like I said, we'll start by, with a farewell to Antonio Rudiger, who served the club very well, but unfortunately, somewhere along the line went wrong. We were not able to renew his contract, and the restrictions on the club and also the sanctions on our beloved owner, Mr. Roman Abramovich, didn't help matters. And again, he's still our owner. The ownership hasn't switched. So again, I want to say again, once more, welcome to everybody on the panel. Bobby, I'll start with you. How are you doing today, Bobby?
Yeah, good, Coach. Good. I was struggling to unmute myself. Hi, guys. Nick, Ty.
Ty may well, still be on mute, but go ahead. You can talk.
Yeah, big up, Bobby.
Sure, big up, guys.
Hear you again.
Yeah, it's good to hear from you all. The Tony Rudiger situation, I will start with, if I may, before I just pass comment about ownership.
Mm-hmm.
I have to revert back to this because I took an almighty amount of stick for this because I called out Marina for delaying this deal. And not everybody, I exaggerate with that, but there were a huge swathe of people that just decided that to challenge her was some kind of misogynistic thing. And they came after me. They really did, for a simple comment. And look, now Rudiger himself has made the same comment. There was unnecessary delays to that deal, even before the sanctions. The sanctions just came along to add more frustration to it. And this idea of being indecisive has cost us. That's just the reality. It saddens me when, because of some people's perhaps sentiments, we're not allowed to speak the truth. He's gone now, so we've got to move on. But it is a very, very sad day for a very capable and, in his own way, very loyal Chelsea servant. So we move on. However, at this point in time, all eyes are on the government. I hear the Premier League have done the fit and proper owners test for the Boehly Consortium. Everything seems good to go. So I don't understand any delay in this. I think there is evidence that the money is not going to go to Roman Abramovich. So, let the sale
Which
go
which
through.
which he never wanted in the first place.
Well, because of the current situation, he was prepared to
Mm.
forfeit. I'd rather say, and he's come out and said that. Now, why are you dragging all these people that have nothing to do with this conflict into this conflict? Just let the club sale go. Let the club become competitive, and stop inhibiting us. Creating a bad situation for perhaps one of the greatest products that this country has, and that's the Premier League. And Chelsea is very, very, very much a key part of that. So let's wait and see what they'll do. But delaying it anymore, to me, starts to look extremely divisive, if not, for want of a better word. So we really have to see what happens, but all eyes are on them, because even talking about transfers and all this is pointless until the deal is done.
Yeah. Again, you make you're one of those. Because you've always blamed Marina, and I'd be surprised if you don't do that. And more especially once we saw this, I say yes. Bobby's going to say he said it. This tweet here that you shared with me says Antonio Rudiger suggests Chelsea could have done more to prevent him from leaving. After the Forster offer, there was a long a long gap of just a nothing. We were not robots. You cannot wait for months with so much uncertainty about your future. Again, we knew there were some gap. Again, you could argue some of the reasons why the gaps, emerged were because of the restrictions on the club. Let me ask you, Nick, what do you think about this comment, this tweet here that suggests Rudiger is, blaming the club partly for him, leaving the club?
Yeah, I would do the same. I blame, like Bobby said, I blame Marina. I love Marina, but the only bad thing she ever did was not give Rudiger the contract at the time.
Mm-hmm.
She was meant to give it, her and the board. So, he's absolutely right. Rudiger is not to blame at all. He would have stayed. He loves his club still. He said it himself. He doesn't have to say it. He shows it when he plays. And when he doesn't, even when he comes across to us fans, he shows how passionate he is for this club. And I wish I haven't got a ticket to go tomorrow. And I'm really upset about that. I wanted to see him for the last time. Chelsea shirt. And come onto the pitch at the end of the game. And Aspie too as well, but it ain't gonna happen for me because we can't have. As Bobby said, they keep it's going on and on. I think this week coming it should happen, Bobby. That's what I've heard.
It went too long. But here's the thing. Here's one thing I wanted to let you know, Nick. I don't think the timing of that is his statement, the release of his farewell message, seemed to me more like a sign that he may well not play the last game. I don't know if that's the case. He may well, Thomas Tuchel may decide, okay, that will be your farewell match. He may not start or just play towards the end of the game just to say goodbye to the fans. But go ahead, Bobby, you wanted to say something.
Yeah, I mean, in response to that, Coach, I think you're right. I mean, this is more or less a novelty game. Third place is more or less sealed. I would rather, we win the game to confirm third place in a respectable way rather than relying on goal difference. And he will have a farewell appearance. It's very sad. It's a very sad situation. But, coming back to this, people, honestly, we've got to stop as a society being so offended. I had nothing against Marina. I just spoke out as a Chelsea fan.
You have every right to express your opinion.
Let me finish,
Exactly.
Bobby. Sorry, Bobby. Yeah, I remember what Bobby said at the time. Everything is like, everything she's done, Marina, is good. She done good, except for Rudiger. I've said the same. And, some people don't agree with us, but that's the truth. Like you keep saying, Bobby.
It's we should be able to speak the truth without being
Yeah.
attacked, and that's the angle I'm coming from. That's, if you like, my opinion, and it's not. You can't be offended. These people are there for us as fans to indeed criticize or not. I love Tommy Tuchel. I would never criticize him, but there are people that do, and I have to.
There are
I
people
don't
that are saying
agree.
that he should be fired, actually.
Yeah, I don't agree at all. But they have their right to say that, and
Hmm.
I don't come after them in a personal way and start insulting them because that's how they feel. That's the sad place we are now in our society.
Yeah, it is sad indeed. Titus, your thoughts on what we're seeing now, and that Rudiger is blaming the club partly, not entirely, if you ask me, for him leaving the club. That he's always wanted to stay, and we knew even Thomas Tuchel thought he'd stay. And I want to take this opportunity to catch up with what's going on in the chat right here. And again, to also appeal with everybody in the chat. You have your opinion and you have every right to express yourself the way you want to, especially here on Chelsea Perspective. Just respect each other. Just do not be abusive. Do not abuse whatever right you have on this channel. Respect each other's opinion. If you disagree, just you know present your counter argument. It's as simple as that. Behave civilized so we can all respect each other. And here, I read something. I had something. Glenn from Liam here. Liam says, Rudiger has been great, and his leaving letter was excellent, and I wish him nothing but the best career, except when he plays against us. I think I am like that too. I hope he succeeds at Real Madrid. He served us well, and I think you could argue that the term true blue and Chelsea through and through doesn't come better than Antonio Rudiger. He exemplifies those two terms, and believe me, I think we will miss him. Abhisha Moha says hello to you too, brother, and I want to say also hello to Street Beer. I hope you're fine. And I want to say hello to Phantom of Many Topics and Steve Chelsea. I hope you guys are doing well. Let me see if there's anything else to read here. Says that if Rudiger go, we can still get better defenders. That's a chance. The truth, but the difference is we will never get another Antonio Rudiger. There are no two players on earth that are exactly the same. They must have one attribute or the other that makes them different from the other. Why we feel bad? Because he feels he fits Tuchel's system. I understand that quite well. Big up to you too. And Fairboy, by the way, I sent you the link to the panel in case you have time. I like that point made. We wanted to speak the truth without being attacked. A legendary statement. That's the point. That's how civilized people act. You express your opinion. If you disagree with what people say, present your counter argument. And there's a chance. There's always something to learn from one another. But we should learn to respect each other. Big up to you, Just Viola. How are you doing, Queen of the House? Respect to you, and thank you for finding time to join. I know you're busy also. And again, this is big up Glenn and everybody exchanging greetings. So now I'm going to come back to the panel and Ty, over to you. Tell me how you feel learning that Rudiger is blaming the club partly for his departure.
First of all, blue morning to everybody on the panel and in the chat. For me, a part of me always thought that it was. I think it was probably clear that in a sense, probably putting Marina on the spotlight probably isn't the best thing to do, but she is partially to blame for it. And I mean, you could actually see that it's the truth. Obviously, there were reports coming out saying that that had not been contacted since. I mean, he confirmed basically what the reports were saying, that from August to January there's no contact. They offered him the first time, nothing happened. They offered him again, but right after that sanctions hit. So I mean, for me, I mean, it's something that I've always seen as an issue where, I mean, it's not only from last year. it was happening since last season. We had the opportunity to rectify these situations, these issues with contracts, and we chose not to do it because of at the time the then manager hadn't really seen much value in those players and was open to the leaving. So obviously because he was open to the leaving, clearly contracts wouldn't be extended. So
Mhm.
as a result, we are suffering now because even for me, I found that foolish. But I mean, Marina is probably to be blamed, but also you cannot forget that Rudiger um, had the opportunity to do things, obviously, but he wanted to focus on country
The
football.
Euros.
Yeah, so I mean, it's 50-50. And I mean, it's unfortunate, like Bobby was saying, because I mean, these situations, it's not the first time it's happened. We're seeing it right now with Kante and Jorginho. We have to be waiting until last minute to be doing things, and that is the wrong way to go about doing things because you need assurance that when you're trying to go forward, you're trying to push forward, you're trying to compete with the teams, you need to be sure that you have these valuable players tied down. And I mean, obviously, we're starting to do that now because players like Reece Jays and players like that are reportedly going to be getting extensions. So that reduces the likelihood of losing these quality players when it's avoidable. And I mean, losing Rudiger could have been avoidable because he's shown it, and like Nick was also saying, he's shown that he's a true blue, and he actually loves the club. He shows it through his performance, and he lets his actions express itself more than words. So yes, it's unfortunate, and I mean, it really does set us back a bit in progressing to compete with other teams. But I mean, we've had to place quality players and valuable players in the back line in the past, and we were able to do good enough to do so. It's just about will we play our cards right this time around and find the best option. But obviously, that's going to be the discussion later on. So I don't want to go too deep into it.
Coach,
Yeah, again, you make a great point. I am a strong. I'll come back to you, Nick. I
yeah,
am a strong. Yeah,
yeah,
Nick.
let me, this what the Costa just mentioned something, just
Mm,
reminded me of something what Rudiger did. Remember the 6 new thrashing we got at City, and what did
mhm.
Rudiger do after the game?
You went
He
to apologize to the fans.
wait a minute. The only player to come across to us fans and
Apologize.
say, well, "I'm sorry, I'm very sorry," and there happened to be one idiot fan there abusing him and calling him racial names. And I wasn't there when that fan was, but if I was, I would have grabbed him, kicked him all the way to Fulham Broadway. The silly sod. But
Yeah,
I'll
I
never forget
understand.
doing
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Mhm. Again, something else that I understand Bobby's point quite clearly, and believe me, I love Marina, but I think she's partly to be blamed for this. And why I say partly is the point that Ty alluded to, the fact that when Rudiger was interviewed on occasions regarding when he's asked if he's talking to the club, his response was always then that he's not in a rush to talk with the club, that he want to focus on football and also the Euros. After that, then he talk with the club. But then again, Marina, who's always, we all know her as a shrewd negotiator, was probably looking to negotiate a lower wage to ensure the club doesn't spend too much on the wage. But again, it is a colossal mistake and we're suffering right now. But that is right. Well, let me quickly read what we have in the chats, and I'll come back to go to Tobago to tell us what he thinks about the situation. Here we have Sheila saying Rudiger for most of the year here was average. It was the last 18 months Tuchel's arrival when he improved to kind of world-class level. Wish him all the best. He goes to Madrid. Again, that's another argument. Maybe the club, especially under Frank Lampard, was reluctant to renewing his contract because he was in poor form then. And Rudiger himself agrees that, yeah, he says the way he puts it is that he is whatever they say he was then. He recognized that he wasn't in great form then, but again, we also must recognize that Frank Lampard didn't treat him quite well. Then he treated him, you know, he disrespected him. You could argue that way. The club 100% to blame. Again, that's you. Here you say, if you haven't, again, we have 28 people watching and we have just 16 likes. So please, if you haven't, take a second to like the stream. The more likes we get, the more YouTube algorithm will be triggered and the stream will be pushed to more people that, would like this particular topic. Please just like the video and show some love to the channel, and also subscribe if you haven't. Again, I don't want us to miss out on our targets. Other clubs are in the market. Again, it's not our fault that we're not talking to players at this point. The restrictions restrict us from negotiating our signing of new players or even selling players. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's the case. Here it says Rudiger is a different breed like Diego Costa was. They get rarer and rarer these days. The game keeps changing. He was a good servant, but I am still angry about the way he left. I am, and I'm not going to blame him again for obvious reasons. Sheila doesn't that prove how important having the right coach is, that he cannot get the best out of players. Again, that is a great comment right there. Let me see if there's anything else to address here. If not, I'll just move on. I don't think there's anything else. Do you know what? Only beautiful people can read this. Yeah, thank you for that comment. You are correct. Steve Chelsea Christensen can go. Yeah, again, that's your opinion there expressing. Chelsea Fans Club, Calvin Phillips, Rafinha Nunes. Again, that's quite a list. The club will have to spend strategically, and I don't think they'll get all those players at the same time. So now, Tobago, you were on the panel before Fairboy joins. So I'm going to come to you. Tell me what you think about the whole situation and what came to your mind when you learned, that Rudiger is blaming the club. One of the reasons that he's leaving.
First of all, big up to the panel, big up to the chat. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit the like button. About Rudiger, I'm so sad. I'm so sad Rudiger is going because, he's one of the improved players into Tuchel's system, and then Tuchel really trusts him. You can see when he talks about Rudiger, he's so sad that Rudiger is going, and then he was hoping Rudiger could stay. And also about what Rudiger said about the club firing coach and changing coach like that. To be honest, that was my issue with Roman Abramovich board. I'm not saying I'm gonna blame Roman in particular, but we'll never know if it was him or it was the board who doing those decisions. Also, as you can see, having a sporting director is so important in the club because, if you're having a sporting director, we shouldn't have a lot of situation like this. They should have known the coach really admire this player. We need to get him the best contract for this player as soon as possible. Just like Jorginho and Kunde in the same scene. And then that's the issue you're having now. So, to be honest, I'm so mad that we delayed the contract situation to renew Rudiger's contract, because clearly the guy wanted to stay at Chelsea, but due to circumstances, he couldn't stay anymore. And also, he have a family. He got a new foundation. He need to do everything right for his future also. So we can blame him as we can, but to be honest, the guy made a best decision for the current situation, for himself and his family and the future. So going forward, I need a structure from our club. We don't need to fire the coaches real quickly. We need to give the coaches a project. For example, I know this topic might be out of context of Rudiger, but I want to make an example. If, for example, we have Thomas Tuchel now, and then we have a new owners, they should just give the guy a 3 years project. You know what? First 2 seasons, you're going to build the team you want, but you still need to compete, but we won't be harsh on you. And the 3rd season is a must. you need to challenge that. It was, that things we should do
Yeah,
in the near future.
yeah. So overall, you blaming Marina, and you think if we had what's it called, a DOF, director of football, that the situation wouldn't be as it is right now. Is that what you think?
Yes, because like as Sporting director have a relationship with the coach, right? They communicate a lot, and then they can the coach can come to him. You know what? Can you please sort out the Rudiger contract situation, because he is my important player.
Most
So I need
important
him.
player.
Yes, but now Marina has a lot of a workload into into his books, so I can blame her, but at the same time, she did good things for us. But also, I saw in a report that the Marina might go in the near future after the transactional period. I'll be
Okay,
happy.
we'll get to that. We'll get to that, but I get your point. I'm going to go to Fairboy, and thank you very much for finding time to join us here. I appreciate that. Great comment. You again, Fairboy. You looking at this comment on the screen, and I'm sure even Tobago, everybody on the panel have seen it. Here, True Blue says he agreed to a salary, but the debate was the sign-on fee in the millions. Actually, salary offered and is higher than Madrid has offered, then and the sanctions. Again, I've talked about the sanctions being one of the reasons why we were not able, to wrap up the whole thing again. And I'm happy that Rudiger himself is putting in a way that you can find something funny in it. He said, we're not robots. But that's, by the way, Fairboy, looking at this comment on the screen, which is also, you could blame Rudiger partly. First, the point that he's always wanted to start talking after the Euros and focus on football first when asked about whether he was talking with the club. And also what you see on the screen here, your thoughts on the whole situation.
I think definitely Rudiger would want the best contract possible. At least this was
given his age.
Yes, this was his final contract with Chelsea. So obviously his agents would demand that he's paid more. The agent knows that when Rudiger pays more, he's also going to get more from perhaps the salaries that he's going to get. So I understand him, and I understand also the club stance. Of course, the club does not want a situation whereby a certain player's salary would also affect the subsequent deals that other players who are on contract will later on sign. So I understand them. But as for me, I disagree partly as to how they went about the negotiations. Because for me, I felt like Rudiger is one of our best players, okay? And if he's one of our best players, of course, he has the right to get some favors or preferential treatment, right? Mm-hmm. After all, he's doing better than a lot of players in our club. So why is it that it's a problem giving him the money he says he deserves and wants? So that is why I agree with the board. Okay. Now with the Rudiger situation, where I've been hearing that fans are aggrieved and they are angry. Look, when fans are aggrieved and are angry that the way a player leaves is bad, I find it somehow funny. Okay. If you look at it, the way players are loyal to the club, fans and clubs don't actually show a similar loyalty to these players. If you understand what I mean. A player can do very well. A player can do very well one season, then have a certain rough patch. All of a sudden, the fan base is against him. Rudiger, I understand Rudiger, and I feel like if I were in his position, I would leave. Because this fan base is I don't understand. When Rudiger was bought by Antonio Conte is a world-class manager. He understands the caliber of player he is. Okay. Then Rudiger plays under Frank Lampard. And Rudiger is having a stinker of a season. His form is that bad. You yourself admit that Frank Lampard is a bad manager. But still you manage to blame or scapegoat a certain player. which for me, I don't understand. So for me, if it comes to people or groups that you should be afraid of, club fans are number one. They are number one. I fear club fans because they actually don't show or reciprocate that loyalty that players show to them. They don't. And for me, if Rudiger is leaving, so be it. He can go, right? I'm not mad at him. I might also make similar decisions if I were in his shoes. Again, the board too, as usual, they don't show similar or reciprocate similar loyalty to their players, right? And as I said earlier,
overall, so we don't dwell. I get, and we'll come to those reasons. Overall, you think you're blaming the board and not Rudiger that is to any measure.
I'm blaming the board. I'm blaming the fans. These two groups, I'm blaming them. They are the reason why Rudiger is not staying, right? You know that Rudiger's contract is about to expire. You wait and wait and wait until the final day when things are impossible to do, and that is when you are trying to, see if you can negotiate something with him. You see, what even pissed me off was when I looked at the wages each of our players earn. Did you know that Marcos Alonso, whom he does not perform as good as Rudiger, earned higher than Rudiger? Did you know that?
Marcos Alonso, about 70% of them, or 80 actually, earn more than Rudiger. I'm not sure the number, but a lot of them. Yeah, but that's, by the way, I get your frustration. We're at the same level, and there's something you said. If I were Antonio Rudiger, I'd leave too, because again, some fans fail to understand. I understand where True Blue is also coming from. Fail to understand football is what Rudiger does for a living. Football is how he earns money and puts food on the table for his family. So, and he is 28 or 29 or so. And at this point, he wants what's best for him. And if he finds it somewhere else, he'd leave. So if you're selling something, you sell to the highest bidder. If you're, if you're a businessman. So again, unfortunately, some people fail to see it from that perspective. But I'm happy. You could argue a majority of the fan base understands, does see things from his own perspective, and they do judge him objectively and not just jump to conclusions. Again, Marina is to blame the club or overall, not Marina specifically, is to blame to a certain measure. Again, if you look at things from their own perspective also, there may be some reasons why they were not able to offer Antonio Rudiger what he wanted. So it's not that simple, it's complicated. But the good thing is here, we'll go into, say after Nick speaks, we're going to, I think, Nick, I don't know if you've spoken already, we're going to, doing our farewell to him when I breeze through the chat. What does everyone think of this sign-on fee for players renewing contracts already here, which was the problem with Rudiger and Christensen not renewing? I have the board again. It's a big problem. I think we'll come back to this. Maybe make it a topic for another episode of Blue Money Show, because it's important. Again, this is somebody appreciating people on the panel. The defense and midfield are very, very disappointing. It's not the fault of Alonso Azpilicueta, Christensen, Alonso Azpilicueta, Rudiger. Again, I'm not sure. I'm not sure I understand that comment there. Phantom, there's no way Rudiger worth more than Kante. Again, that's argument between you two there. Liam, that sign-on fee doesn't make any sense, actually. I think AC just wanted a change of scene. That's my opinion. Again, that's why we're here. You express your opinion. Hopefully, the owner of Royal isn't stingy, and for the purchase of players, it's entirely up to the coach. Hopefully, Chelsea will overhaul the current squad so they can sweep all the titles. Again, we've all learned that it will most definitely be a rebuild, whether it is by design or maybe you could say we're just forced to do so, given the fact that quite a lot of about 4 or 5 defenders will be leaving, and there's the likelihood of some attackers leaving because they're not happy, not because the club wants to sell them. Again, here it says don't fight over a woman. Again, please keep that conversation to yourself. Just like you said, single player cannot make a team. So let's focus on building a stronger team. After all players come and go, that's a fact. But you appreciate the good ones when you lose a very good player such as Rudiger, a player that epitomizes, if you like, Chelsea through and through, and a true blue. It is painful to lose such a player. You must know he could still have waited for the takeover. He's not out of contract, and no contract can be concluded or registered until July. Marina was still answerable to Roman. Love the fans. Wait for Boehly. Again, that's another point there. He could have waited if he wanted to, but he had to choose what's favorable to him. If you ask me, we won the Premier League and all the trophies without. Again, that's another argument. This is just us in denial. We're losing a very good player, no matter how we see it. Yes, Viola, I have no problem with it for a player coming into the club on a free, but for players already here, I think it is ridiculous. Again, the game has changed. The sign-on fee has become a big thing. A big up, Coachila. Big up to you too, Deals. Nice to see you here again. If Chelsea wants to compete for a little, it is mandatory to overhaul. Well, we're being forced to do that right now, whether we like it or not. John Terry's time come to an end. He never let the club down. He was far more important than Rudiger. Again, that's your argument. But right now, Rudiger is more important. Again, he's one of the best players we have at the club at this point. Again, I'll try to come back to the chat again. And this is Salmit C. I agree. Rudiger was a good defender in the first year. But guys, remember how bad he was in back four under Lampard. But remember how good he is right now with us. But that's, by the way, Nick, any final thoughts before we go into the farewell for Rudiger and then discuss other topics we have here? And quickly, please, we have just 20 likes. We can do better than that. We have about 40 people watching. Please take some time to like the video. It is for free. It takes just a second. And if everybody asks you to pay, tell them Just Viola had already paid for you, or Steve Chelsea. Please do like the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Nick, your thoughts? Any final thoughts on the controversy over why Rudiger is leaving?
Yeah, I'm very gutted. I was hoping, I was living in hope he might change his mind. But he had to decide. I don't get True Blues' point. I don't get True Blues' point of saying, he could have waited for Boehly to come in. No, Marina should have sorted it out a long time ago, and the board. That's nothing to do with Boehly right now. He could, because they treated him bad. They had, when you treat someone like that, don't respect one of the best players at the club, he ain't going to wait for Boehly or anyone else. He had to make his decision because he wants to get along with his life, and he has a lot of things to do. So that point is out in the street right now. Yeah, and about the fans, now, suddenly everyone, even when Rudiger was playing good, I heard some nonsense about Rudiger because I always praised him. No, he's not that good, or he's this and that. No, they're not real fans anyway.
Again, they're all real fans. They're just in denial. That's just, listen, I would just want to, can I come in quickly, Nick? Yeah. That is just a way, remember, we're Chelsea fans, and whenever we lose a good player, we find the reasons to console ourselves. Some say, well, he wasn't that good, or well, that, we find excuses again. But one thing is important. We're all entitled to our opinions, and it's allowed. If you disagree, present your counter opinion. It's as simple as that. But Nick, go ahead if you're not done. I want to go to Bobby quickly. I said that we can, get over with a farewell to Antonio Rudiger and talk about the next topic.
Yeah, good luck to him. We're going to miss him. We won't replace Rudiger. Doesn't matter who we get. We won't be able to replace him. Yeah, go to Bobby now. So,
Yeah, Bobby, before I come to you, just quickly, let me catch up with the chat again. I love this comment by Glenn on the screen. It is delicious, and staff will tell me don't use delicious. It's not cookery. Like the video, or Danny Drinkwater will make it to the first team next season. Please do like the video. We don't want to see that happen. We have just 21 likes, while we have about 33 people watching it. Please, we want to get, the more you like the video, we'll have up to 200 people watching soon, and let's shoot for 200 likes today. Show some love to the channel wherever you're watching from. You can do that just by liking the video. And also, if we have 100 people plus watching today, we would do a giveaway, and the winner will go home with $50. And we haven't forgotten about the Roman Abramovich tribute contest, where you get a chance to win $150. The contest will kick off the moment the new owner is announced. Again, it says, who was the first to like tonight? Again, it was you. Congratulations to you. What do you win? Just a high five. Boehly needs to make the right decisions on the board in the summer. That's important. I don't think it's all about him. We must recognize that it's a consortium, so decision making isn't entirely up to Boehly, but I think he's the front man. Steve Chelsea, what are you asking me? You forgot Benitez was 6 months interim, not a full-time manager. Again, that's a conversation between you two. Liam here says it's been reported that Boehly is going for 2. Yeah, we'll talk about that. Don't give it away, Liam. Don't give it away. We'll get to that. We don't need strikers. We just need defenders. I think that is not the truth, Steve Chelsea. I love you, but I disagree with that. So, Bobby, I'm going to come to you. I know you're a good person to ask this question. Can you take some time, take a minute or two, and tell us, let me say, summarize Antonio Rudiger's time at Chelsea and what you think about his time at Chelsea. And again, up to you, however you want to, present the farewell.
Yes. All I'll just say is this. It's very sad to me because there's so many errors I see in the Antonio Rudiger story. There's the disingenuous elements that nobody likes to recognize. That Antonio Rudiger was brought to Chelsea by Michael Emenalo. Another very sad thing is that when Rudiger wasn't performing well, he was either recovering from injury or he has either been injured. Rudiger came to Chelsea as a slight gamble. He had just recovered from an anterior cruciate ligament injury and needed time to find his feet, after which he was injured again. He was also a victim of subconscious bias by Frank Lampard. Lampard is somebody we love. He's a Chelsea legend, yes, but he has a bias to a particular profile of player. And if your face doesn't fit, Frank is very, very rigid with you, as he was with Rudiger.
He's such a poor man manager.
He is. I don't want to go into too much about it, but he has his bias. It's a subconscious bias, but it is very, very much there. And Rudiger was a victim. He was almost as much a victim of Frank Lampard as he was of Marina's indecision. Mm-hmm. But when Tuchel came in, what we suffered from is a lack of a proper director of football that we hadn't had since Michael Emenalo took the position. And so basically the deal wasn't done properly and he slipped through our fingers. Now, coming to Rudiger the man, I have never doubted, and from his own goodbye and the fact that he even took his time to say a goodbye, I've never doubted that this man loves this club. He truly does. And he will always be a Blue. It's just one of those things that we have now created at Chelsea, because now we find ourselves in the very, very difficult situation of finding a replacement. We find ourselves in a situation where when our rivals are consolidating their positions, with strengthening buys like Haaland to Man City, and I hear they've got a number of extremely good targets. Liverpool have their targets, even Arsenal and Tottenham. We find ourselves yet again in a position of rebuilding. The fortunate thing with us is that our rebuild is quite clear. We know we need marquee signings, and we have the fortunate position of being able to bring back some loanees, which is going to be some of the reliance we have on this rebuild. But for me, a very crucial part of the rebuild going forward is to extend the contract of Thomas Tuchel so that he can not only rebuild, but see it through to the position we want to be, just like Klopp has and just like Guardiola has. So back to Rudiger. Can I say I wish him well? I wish his career in Spain well. I do not wish him well if he comes up against Chelsea, of course.
How do I know you were going to say that? But go ahead.
Oh, no, I'm Chelsea through and through. There's nobody that would surmount my club. But, for his own personal welfare, I wish him well. I look forward to a time that he comes back to Chelsea. I hope the fan base, I believe they will always welcome him like we do most of our ex-players. I just think it's sad, but it's typical modern Chelsea. We are wasteful with opportunities. We have too many of the wrong people making crucial footballing decisions. And I'm hoping that now, in perhaps the biggest transfer market we have ever had, we put people in place that are going to get it right. And it has to be led by Tuchel.
Yeah, again, what a way to put it. And again, to me, I'm really sad, but I can't change anything. I don't know what else to say. I think you said pretty much everything that comes to mind. But I want to get Ty, your thoughts, your final thoughts on Rudiger leaving, just your farewell to him. Okay, go your farewell to Rudiger. It looks like Ty isn't there. He's usually busy doing at work,
Hear me?
doing something else at the same time.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, Ty, go ahead. Your farewell to Rudiger.
I mean, like Bobby was saying, it's a very difficult story with Rudiger. I mean, people will bash him, say that he was only good under Tuchel, but that's false. I mean, a lot of people want to forget that even on the sorry, leading up to that horrible injury that he had, he was actually doing good. Antonio Conte, the year when he won the FA Cup, he was doing good. And I mean, we're seeing firsthand now that when a player gets an injury as severe as that, it can take a toll on their performances. We're seeing it with Van Dijk. Van Dijk he seems to be considered one of the greatest, but he hasn't been the same this season for Liverpool. So you see what an injury of that caliber can do to somebody. But I mean, Rudiger has given a lot of fans a lot of laughs. His facial expressions, his reactions when he scored that goal, I think was Brentford, and he just ran to Tuchel. You saw how much passion he had. The Champions League final that dive into to block Foden shots. There's a lot of memories, and talking about it brings you back to flashbacks of those great moments. But I mean, with Rudiger, it's unfortunate that it's ending this way. But I mean, there's a lot of factors around it. People will not want to speak about it. People will disagree with it. By the end of the day, Rudiger served the club well in this final season, and I wish him luck, but not against Chelsea if we come up against him. So, I mean, good luck to him, and I hope he'll be able to bring his personality into the Los Blancos team.
Yeah, I'm sure one part of you is saying hopefully he doesn't do well and decides to come back.
Yeah, he just says that, what, I made a mistake.
Go ahead, Ty, say what you want to say, bro.
Yeah, he just says that, I made a mistake and I'm ready to come back. But I mean, yeah, that's just being hopeful. But yeah, it's unfortunate. But like I said, like I was saying before, we've had to replace a lot of these type of personalities, and for most we were able to do so, even if it was for a short term. So hopefully, we do what is necessary, and the good thing is that he's been confirmed, and we have the summer window possibly to rectify the issues and make the replacements where necessary. But
we'll get to that later.
Discuss it. So.
Yeah, again, if you haven't, please make sure to go check out Thai Talk CFC. Follow everybody on the panel. You can see their Twitter handle, Bobby Smoky Signals, Thai Talks, Nick Blue, Fairboy, if you can change your Twitter handle so that people can easily follow you, that'll be fine. Again, we have about 53 people. A minute ago, we had about 60 plus people watching, but we still have just 25 likes. Come on, people, we can do better than that. Show the channel some love, help the channel grow. Feel at home here, express yourself. It is democracy here. You're allowed to express your opinion. Again, please show some love by liking the video so that the YouTube algorithm will be triggered and the stream will be pushed to more people who would be interested in this particular topic. And also do subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And remember my promise, if we get to 100 plus people watching like we did the other day, we do a $50 giveaway. Again, that's by the way. He says, Nick, I'm going to read this because I like to see you wind up. He says, Nick Blue, you said you believed he would stay because Todd Boehly, your problem, Nick, you are like the UK government, whether inconsistent, you change it to suit your argument at times. If he loves Chelsea fans, he could have waited. Again, my argument against this would be, it's all business. As much as it is business for the club, it is business for Antonio Rudiger, whether we like it or not. Frank is learning to be a people's person at Everton. I hope he does. He learns from his mistake. I wish him well, but it will be difficult for me to, forget how he denied Roman Abramovich, just like something Judas did in the Bible. According to Mainz players, Tuchel was a harsh manager like Lampard. The current Tuchel that hogs players is learned skill. That may well be the case for Frank Lampard. I hope it is. Again, I hope I find a place in my heart to forgive him. That denial still hurts my feelings. At Chelsea, our current wingers have them crying for Willian. That reminds me, I think, but Willian himself wanted too much. Again, let me see if there's anything to address here. If you want us to address your input, please let it be aligned to what we're currently talking about, so you don't, derail us from the topic at the moment. Rudiger almost won everything at Chelsea. Now it's time for him to make money. Even me as a player, I would do the same. Thank you for speaking the truth. And I think, what hasn't Rudiger won at Chelsea? But we'll talk about that later. People talk about useless Lampard to defend Rudiger, and yet they ignore Lampard to destroy Kepa. Again, this is an argument for another day, but I get what you're saying, True Blue. Here we have more. You have to blame Marina because she held up the contract talk. Now we lost 80 million player for free, and also she didn't get a destroyer defensive midfielder. Instead, got a washed up Saúl Ñíguez. That's another argument. You could argue that by Rudiger, I'm not following you to Real Madrid. Instead, my current team is for Phantom. I'm going to block you. You're really looking for my trouble here. Stop talking about Fulham and start talking about Chelsea all the time. I love you, brother, but you're looking for my trouble here. Again, who else? Anything else here? So I'm going to come back to the panel. Tobago, your farewell to Antonio Rudiger. And Fairboy, I'll come to you, Fairboy. Go ahead, Tobago.
Yeah, first of all, I would say I'm so sad about Rudiger going.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, just like Tuchel said, there's no player bigger than Chelsea. We have to move on. And then hopefully our new owners can rectify the mistake that our current board are having now. Not trusting the best players that are performing, not rewarding the players with contracts, also taking a long time to extend contracts and wait until the last minute, and we end up losing those players for free. But anyway, I wish Rudiger best of luck in Real Madrid. And then for the future, man, because like that guy, a lot have lot on his plate. Also about the new foundation is creating at Sierra Leone. So I wish him best of luck.
That's a brilliant idea too. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I wish Rudiger the best of luck. Hopefully, we can get an aggressive player just like him for the future.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you. That's a brilliant one. Fairboy, your farewell to Antonio Rudiger.
Yeah. So for me, Rudiger has had an illustrious career at Chelsea. He's won a lot of things for us. And with the kind of personality Rudiger is, I'm sure a lot of clubs would love to work with him because he's always going to put his heart out, play for you. He's going to do everything he can to make your team win. So it's true we are losing a player of such a caliber. And for me, I'm sad. Honestly, I'm sad. But I hope he does well at Madrid. I don't wish him any ills. He does well. He continues to be better. And hopefully one day we can see him again. So that's all I'll say about Rudiger.
Yeah, again, I'd say the same thing. We can't. It's happened. I was in denial. We actually did a video trying to find the reasons why we think he'd stay. Eventually, he's going to leave us at the end of the season. I'll come into you, Nick. Your farewell to Antonio Rudiger.
Yeah. What can I say? About Rudiger. Bobby was right. When he wasn't playing well, it wasn't because of the injuries he had. And but Frank Lampard didn't treat him correctly at all. He didn't. I remember when he froze him out. He froze him out completely at one stage. Tuchel came and revitalized him. I'll never forget. And not only that, I don't respect Frank Lampard anymore. You know that. I've talked about it a lot of times because of the fact that he didn't acknowledge Roman Abramovich when on that interview. And I will never forget that. As a player, we always will love, we love Frank Lampard, a legend, a great player for us, but I've lost all respect for him. And I'm gutted that his Everton side are staying up. I have nothing against Everton Football Club. I have against Frank Lampard. So I hope he gets relegated next year, never comes back in the Premiership. Mm-hmm. That's what I have to say about Frank Lampard. For the disrespect on Roman and the treatment of Rudiger. That was, he didn't warrant that. So, good luck to Rudiger. He will move on. He will be a great player for Real Madrid. There's no doubt about that. But, hopefully, maybe one day he might come back. We said about Hazard, it didn't happen, but we cannot, you don't know what the future will bring. So if there's any chance later, if he does decide he wants to come back, you never know.
Yeah, I think we lost Nick now. Nick, are you still there?
He wants to go. He couldn't even speak. Yeah, I'm here. I'm talking.
Yeah, okay.
You can't hear me?
No, at the time we lost you, but go ahead.
Yeah, so that's, like I said, Rudiger will go on. Marina made a big, massive mistake, with all that contract stuff. So, we can't do nothing now. It's too late. He's gone. So we have to move on. And we will move on. Nothing stops Chelsea Football Club. Okay, yeah, that's about all, really.
Yeah, again, I understand your point. Again, I think if you start talking about it already, we have some people saying, like, they are, it's funny. Some people, it's funny at the same time. I think I feel the same way. I think we have some people saying that they are the point of crying because Rudiger defines, if you want to define absolute Chelsea, Rudiger is a prime example. But that's, by the way, and again, I want to say to everybody in the chat, you have every right to have conversations between yourself. I'm just saying, if you want us to address your input in the chat, it has to be aligned to whatever we're talking about currently. That way we can address it and not be derailed from the topic. That's not stopping you from talking whatever you're talking about there. But that's, by the way, Nick, while I'm with you, what's your favorite Antonio Rudiger moment? And before Nick comes back in, if you're watching, we have just 29 likes while we have 80 plus people watching. Please beef up the likes. Wherever you're watching from, take a second to like the video. The more we like the video, the more the YouTube algorithm will be triggered and get more people to join us. And we will have more fun if we'll have more people here. And also do subscribe to the channel if you haven't. We've gained more subscribers. We're shooting for 2K subscribers as soon as possible. Now we're at 1,465. We can get to at least 1,500 subscribers today. But more importantly, do like the video so that we can reach more people. So, Nick, your favorite Antonio Rudiger moment at Chelsea Football Club?
I have to mention two my most memorable. The first one I said, talked about it before, when we lost 6-0 to City, and he was the only player after the match to come and say sorry. He nearly got into, in the fans. He was, he wanted to embrace them and say sorry. And, that was a great to see. What a man. The other, I'll never forget the Chelsea Leeds game 3-2 when we won 3-2. He had an unbelievable performance, brilliant. And at the end, he stood up for, I forgot who he was, who got back from a Leeds player. A Leeds player pushed, I can't remember who was it. One of our players, I think it was Havertz. And Havertz fell down, and it was a big fight at the end of the game. But who but Rudiger to come and intervene and push all those Leeds players away. With two hands, he pushed the whole team away. What a sight. I was right there, right there at the Midfield Huddy's side, watching it and shouting Rudy's name like everyone else. I'll never forget. He has so much good memories for me. Nothing bad. Nothing bad.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I'll talk about mine too. I think something you mentioned, but I'll talk about mine last. Rudiger is that player in our team that if opposition team wants a fight, wants a fist fight, I think he's one of the first to come out and say, okay, you want it? Let's do it. I'll come back to the panel again, and I think the next person I'll go to will be Tobago, but let me catch up with the chat. Still cannot forget Rudiger's performance under Frank Lampard against West Ham, one of worst performances. Again, I don't want to talk about his bad days. He's not perfect, but I prefer to talk about his best moments rather than his worst moments at the club. Okay, I'm back. Welcome back, brother. I love you again. He says, what the hell does Marina have to do with Sawunu Grace? Get the reality check. Rudiger got a big pay rise from his Roma salary. Stop again. We're all entitled to opinion. He was offered enough. Again, you could argue that, but from his own perspective, he wasn't offered enough. And then again, that's enough for me. It's his it's his business. He accepts what he wants and rejects what he wants. I have no say in that. I'm hoping to use under 23s in the Watford game. That's a possibility, but I don't see Thomas Tuchel doing that, because his concern has always been to reduce the gap between Chelsea Football Club, Manchester City, and Liverpool FC. Rudiger, during our Champions League campaign last year, one of my favorite moments. You nearly stole my favorite moments of Antonio Rudiger, but thank goodness you did not mention that specifically, just Biola. Frank Lampard built for the foundation while Tuchel take it to the next level. Credit to both. Again, you must say credit to Frank Lampard. After all, he played us out of the group stage of the game. But had he remained the manager, I don't think we would have won the Champions League, because things were going down south with him at control at that point. Marina overseeing the transfer of I don't want to say that Ziyech, Bakayoko, Drinkwater, Ross Barkley, and the rest of the, whatever you call them. We were meant to compete with Liverpool, Man City. Now we need a complete rebuild. I think the complete rebuild is as a result of too many players, lots of defenders leaving, which forces the hands of the board to make changes. A rebuild would actually be good, because it gives Thomas Tuchel the opportunity to build a team in his own image. I want to see Jude soon, Super Bowl versus Watford. Again, this is James Quensa says, as long as Sarri is out of the team, I can breathe much better. Jude, how are you doing? I think this is your first time here, and everyone else who's watching, if you haven't, please do like the video. And the more you like the video, the more people will reach, and the more people will have participated, and the more fun it will be. And remember, if we have up to 100 people watching, we would do a giveaway which the winner will get a chance to win $50 cash prize. And again, Triple says, Coachila, you always dismissed my comments. Stop talking of family, etc. People in the UK are struggling to feed their kids. Lucky he has a talent, will never have to worry. He stated charities, not CFC problem. Again, that's your opinion. I respect that. And sorry if you feel like I ignore your comments. I don't. You're entitled to your opinion, and I'm entitled to mine. And I like it that you said as he's lucky. Yeah, he's lucky. It's his talent. So again, it's his decision to decide to stay at Chelsea or not. I prefer that part of your comments. Again, anything here to address? Sell for 10 million. Nope. Again, it will be again because we got him on a free. So this is a comment that makes sense. But he may well stay. Tuchel might not want to risk selling him because we've lost too many defenders, and there's a chance he gets better. At least we've seen players who has had some worse, some stinkers at Chelsea become a world class under Thomas Tuchel. If Tuchel does not make top 4 next season, he has to go. If you change up to 7-8 players, if it's a rebuild, if he doesn't make top 4 next season, getting rid of him will not be justified by any means. I don't see how you justify that. If you make too many changes to exchange, you have a transition period. The whole of Chelsea fan base divided over Marina. I'm so confused. I wish I were a fly in the room where she does her negotiations. Again, I do love Marina. She's a shrewd negotiator, and most people fail to understand she's just a negotiator. She doesn't say who signed or who doesn't. And the final decision, I don't think it's up to her. Again, that's my argument.
It's not up to her, but that's a discussion for another day. People blame her for anything that it's not her fault.
And there are people who argue otherwise and convince you that there are reasons to also blame her. Again, a True Blue, if you really want a CP to hear you, ask her for the StreamYard link. I do love that. I know, Nick, you said your favorite moment. Tobago, your favorite Antonio Rudiger moment?
My favorite Rudiger moment is the Champions League final against Manchester City.
Mm.
In order to win a Champions League, we need men. We don't need boys. We need men who can fight throughout the game. If you can remember, Man City were at first half were attacking us so hard, but our defense was strong. Also, he cleared a Phil Foden chance, which Foden should have scored there. And then after that moment, I saw him and say, yeah, this guy really deserves to be at Chelsea. He knows how to win finals. So from my side, my best Rudiger moment is that final against Manchester City.
Yeah, I think that's a good one, and you nearly stole my spot there also, but you were not specific enough, so thank you. Fairboy, your favorite Antonio Rudiger moment, your turn.
Look, that Champions League final against Man City last season, Man City were in the game with Kevin De Bruyne in it. But what he did to De Bruyne to make us win the game, wow, I'll never forget it. That moment when we're being peppered, we're being pressured, and he found a way to take out their best player from the game. I would always appreciate that. And look, that will go into my history books of one of the best actions a centre back has done for a club. So that's it. That's my favorite.
Yeah, but again, that's another good one. And we have about 62 people watching. We had 90 people a few minutes ago, and we have just 40 likes. Come on, people, we can do well. And if you're watching, please do take a second to smash the like button. It's free. It won't cost you anything. Also, subscribe to the channel if you haven't, to help us grow. And please do not forget to click on the bell notification button so that whenever we go live, you will not miss it. Please, again, like the video to help us reach more people. We have 41 likes now. Let's get it to at least 100 likes before 1 hour 30 minutes mark. I think we can do that, and overall shoot for 200 likes by the end of the show. Again, that's a good one, Fairboy. Ty, your favorite Antonio Rudiger your favorite Antonio Rudiger moment at Chelsea. But let me go through this. Koto Marix says that Rudiger's best performance for me will be last season's Champions League final. I will never forget that. We don't know if Tomo will stay next season or go back to Germany. And this Marina negotiated deals. She does not choose players. So sick of fans who don't understand club structure. Lukaku was Roman's choice. Torres was Roman's choice. Shevchenko was Roman's choice. Again, Kunde and Koulibally will have to adapt in preseason. I don't think Boehly will accept no trophy next season after a splashing 200 million. Here's the thing: if that's the case, if he's not going to accept a trophyless season, then he must sign every player that Thomas Tuchel wants and not ask questions. So you must. I hope you understand that. I agree with you, True Blue. Again, Nick Blue, get off the show. Please don't come here and abuse anybody on the fan. You cannot prove it. I seen that video where Nick Blue is being accused of racism, and the video was doctored. And I've watched the full-length video where that video was cut off from, and I don't think it's fair to accuse somebody of racism when indeed, in fact, it was a lie. So you're trying to fabricate stories.
Coach,
No, Nick, you don't have to come in. You don't have to come in to explain yourself.
Yeah, no, these people, yesterday I had a few messages, especially wait, I had a message, swearing and all that, calling me so, and I put him in his place. Then after 2 hours, I told him, go and watch your videos, go and watch both, don't just watch what they clipped. And he did. And he come back and he said, sorry. And he said, can we forget everything? We're all fans. And
Nick, here's
here, you fucking want to say something, come and say to me, you fucking moron.
All right, Nick, listen, I know you're mad. That's why I say you don't have to respond, because I know you're pissed already. And that's not going to help our video here. What we're going to do is we will share the link to the full video and share another link to the doctored video. Let any person that's calling Nick a racist go compare them. And I don't think it's okay. Whoever that's engineering that type of thing, I don't think if you really believe in God, I don't think God will look down on you kindly, because it's wickedness at its peak. Again, it's not okay. But that's, by the way, Rudiger was Ramos, Chiellini type aggressive, dirty defender. We're going to miss that type of, we will indeed miss him. A great stream, lads. West Boy, thank you very much. Nice to see you here, West Boy. And again, wherever you're watching from, we have 44 likes. We're shooting for at least 100 likes before 1 hour, 30 minutes mark. If you haven't, please do subscribe to the channel and also like the video to help us reach more people. Just Viola, do you speak Urdu? Again, that's a conversation. Don't like people coming on here to trash anyone on false claims, because I've watched the two videos. What's being pioneered, and again, I don't want to name names, but if I'm pushed, I'm going to name names at the point, maybe on Twitter, but it's not okay. We're not going to make it about the topic of the day here. Now, I'm going to come to you, Ty, your favorite Antonio Rudiger moment.
Man, that whole thing just put my head all
because you know the story very well.
It happened yesterday on my stream as well. Somebody came on and just Viola had to block them too. I don't know if she knows that. But anyways, my favorite moment, I hope this moment isn't the one that you want to speak about. It's the Champions League one. And it's a moment against Atletico Madrid where, he just got to Luis Suarez. He brought up the fact that he beat Ivanovic in the past. Not Ivanovic. Yeah, it was Ivanovic. And the way he just pocketed him in the entire game, and then in the same game, I don't remember who it was. Someone was trying to attack him. I think it was after the red card happened, and Zuma and him were just against that player, and the player just started running backwards. When the two of them came on, that was my favorite moment, because you just saw the, I don't want to use this word, but you just saw that dirty side of him. That's why I call him Rude Boy Rudiger.
You're stealing my name. You're stealing the name I gave him. But go ahead. So specifically, was that Champions League final? Go ahead. You're laughing, but it's okay. Go ahead.
Yeah, rude boy
Good, Ty.
Rudiger, man. Rude boy Rudiger.
Okay, no problem. Okay, you win. Bobby, I know you don't like profanity at all, but you know you can understand where Nick is coming from. I don't know if you're well acquainted with the situation where he's been framed, being called racist for some reasons. The video was doctored, cut out from the main video, leaving the whole context of what was going on, how he talked about racism and all that, how he was treated because of the color of his skin. So, and somebody started pushing the agenda, telling people to retweet it and call Nick Blue racist. But he's not racist, and I think you know that as well. I don't know if you are well acquainted with the situation, but that's, by the way, and apologies for anybody for Nick using the F word. And I don't entirely blame Nick. I'd be as mad as him if somebody's, calling me racist when I'm not one. And then again, it's all being engineered to make me look like I'm one. But that's, by the way. So, Bobby, your favorite Antonio Rudiger moment at Chelsea?
My favorite Rudiger moment has to be from the Champions League final. But I have to say this, Coach. I really have to say this. I'm not somebody. All I do on these streams is talk about football. I'm here with Nick Blue and Tyrell because I don't believe for a minute that Nick Blue has anything to do with racism.
Thank you very much.
I've seen the video in question. It hurts me and disappoints me that such a thing can be happening. I don't know the root cause. I'm not even sure I care, but I take people as I see them. Somewhere along the line, some people have tried to drag me into this, and I have refused. I will not be dragged into a situation that I don't see as real. In my opinion,
honestly, Bobby, I must let you know the way you are addressing this brings. I'm nearly. That is, my eyes are wet right now because it's an unfortunate situation. And thank you for being truthful about it. And I'm glad you're not naming names. And I've been sometimes been pushed to the point of trying to name names, but I'm going to hold myself. But I think it's not okay that such is happening in our community, Chelsea community. We're hated so much, but we have such a friction within the community. Again, it's disheartening, but go ahead. I'm waiting for your favorite Rudiger moment if you haven't said already, but go ahead with whatever point you're trying to make regarding the situation. I'm okay with it.
Yeah, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, Nick is a passionate Chelsea fan. I've been a Chelsea fan for many decades. I've done work, and I still do occasionally do security work at Stamford Bridge. All I do is come on these streams to talk to my brothers and sisters, if there are any, that are under the flag of Chelsea, and that's it. I won't be associated with anybody that I feel has any sort of true bigoted or racist views. But as far as I'm concerned, Nick Blue is not one of them. He's passionate. He has his opinions. Sometimes we don't even agree, but I'm shocked really at all of this. It hurts me that it should even be happening. And, I just think I can't see, I haven't seen the truth behind it. And it's appalling, really. It's appalling. I'm very, very sad that this sort of thing can happen. But moving on, as far as Rudiger's concerned, Rudiger will always be a big hero of mine at Chelsea. He's had many great moments, but I will never forget his last-ditch tackle in the Champions League final that kept us ahead, that kept the 0-0. I think it was Foden that was through on goal, or someone, I've forgotten who it was now, can you imagine? And, Rudiger's celebrations, his fiery nature. Do you know one great thing about Tony Rudiger? As fierce as he was on the pitch, Rudiger has never had a red card. That tells you everything.
Wow. That hasn't even occurred to me. That shows you, I think, how do I phrase it? There is some self-restriction in terms of how he exerts his aggressive, that is the aggressive side of him. You know, he does it so well that he even hardly gets carded for that. Wow, that's just brilliant for me. But finally, Bobby has stolen the show from me, I must say. I think he was quite specific about it. My favorite Antonio Rudiger moment at Chelsea was that last ditch tackle that feel for them. If you ask him, if you take that's his attempt back 3 seconds back and ask him, was that going into the net? He'd say yes. But Antonio Rudiger's last ditch tackle made sure the game remained 1-0 to Chelsea. And had that gone in, believe me, there's no telling what the outcome of that Champions League final would have been. So Bobby finally wraps up, looks at everybody on the panel had a plan to make sure I wasn't going to be the one to say it. But I appreciate that. But more importantly, Bobby did mention he's never gotten a red card as aggressive as he's been. If you think it's wrong, you let us know. I'm going to catch up with people in the chat to see everybody's favorite Rudiger moment. Phantom here says when Rudiger scored from outside the 18-yard box, was that against what team again? But we ended up drawing the game, unfortunately.
Brentford.
I think, sorry?
It's not Brentford, the game we lost 4-1.
He actually lost it, yeah, but he scored the first goal. Again, unfortunate for him, but that was a brilliant goal. And he went to Thomas Tuchel to, I think, did he embrace him? I see they talked about it during trainings. Thomas can do anything, just give him a boy. I'm not sure what you mean by that. Again, Alem says, well said, Viola. Why can't people just be nice? It's a lot easier and better for themselves. That's the truth. Just be nice to each other. Why are we hating ourselves while we're one of the most hated club? And again, I think I'm going to speak up in a very special way regarding this agenda against Nick Blue, because it's not good. Right. It's quite unfortunate, and it's so disheartening.
Chelsea perspective.
Yes.
Look, can I say something about the issue?
Yeah, go ahead quickly. Since we can go ahead, just take a minute to say bye so we can move forward with the show.
Let me be honest here.
Yeah,
I don't know the issue, actually. I don't know what has transpired between Nick Blue and the others, you see. But there's something I just don't understand about people. If someone, I'm not saying Nick Blue is this or he's that, but this is what I'm saying, it's general. If someone says, I don't like you, do you think it is reasonable to perhaps go and slander him in front of his friends? Say, because he does not like me, then I'm not also going to let you have friends. Chelsea perspective, do you think that makes sense?
I know what you're talking about, and I know who you're talking about, but no naming names, but go ahead. That is not fair. And again, here's the point. Let me just make a point here, and I want us to move forward as soon as possible. The point I want to make, I've been in that situation, and exactly with that same person wants you to fight with everybody they're fighting with. And that's like what happens in primary schools. But that's, by the way, please let's move on. If you have anything to say about it, just go ahead.
Yes, but I'm not specifying something. Like, I want to know if that actually makes sense. Because for me, imagine
it doesn't
I don't like you, right? Or you don't like me. I cannot go around and tell your friends that, okay, because you don't like me, then stop being friends with him. I can't do that. If you don't like me, I'll just have to avoid you. That's the logical thing you can do. You understand? But I don't understand why. But I don't understand why someone says, okay, let's say the person says he doesn't like you. He doesn't like this. He doesn't like this about you. He doesn't like this about you. Then you keep on sabotaging the person, as if perhaps the person even knows you from anywhere. I'm not condoning racism. I'm not condoning anything. But all I'm saying is, yes, but all I'm saying is, if someone says he doesn't like you, it could be for so many reasons why the person doesn't like you. Don't force the person to like you, if I'm making sense. And if someone is arguing on your opinions and he's saying that your opinions are not good, it's not a personal attack on you. It's an attack on your opinion. So try as much as possible.
You can counter with your own opinion. Yes. It's as simple as that. So let's just move on. For boy. Let's not bore people in the chat that doesn't know what we're talking about, because we have to provide content if we really want to discuss it there, and that's not why we're here, if you don't mind.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you very much. I believe Thomas Tuchel will prepare another beautiful centre back for us. I think that will be the case. Again, so lots of states there don't speak. Okay, again, that's the conversation. Happy blue morning to Coachila and everyone on the panel. Big up everyone in the comments. Nice to see you here, my brother DJ Saab. I wasn't sure if I sent you the link, but tell me if you need it. I'll do so as soon as possible. And I appreciate you finding time to join. I know you're always busy at this time and at work because bills don't pay themselves, and I totally understand. We're on Tony Rudiger again. Yeah, we're talking about Rudiger. Farewell to him, and we'll so soon switch topics again. Yes, the red card reminds me of something I read this morning. Real Madrid didn't get a single red card in La Liga this season after many, many years. Guess it's because of Ramos and Rudiger. Here's the thing: I think that they're in luck. Rudiger will give them what Ramos, gave them when he was still there with them, but even in a better way, in a smoother way, without being red carded or getting many cards. Again, they are getting an engine there, or somebody that you could argue better than Ramos if they play him to his strength. Again, DJ 17, yeah, big up, guys. Much love. Let's have love and true, not hate and hostility. Thank you very much, Bobby. Again, you do know how to present matters. That brings tears to my eyes. Favorite Antonio Rudiger moment, his goal, but just his passion for Chelsea FC. I am so gutted he's leaving. I think we're all, even some people are at the point of, shedding tears. But that's, by the way, Coachila, yes, I will in a bit, brother, and thank you for asking. I really don't know what is happening. I don't know either, but if you watch the two videos, you will understand the situation. So, Bobby, I'm going to start with you on this one. Let me show the screen, and then I'll come out from it in a bit so that I should be able, I think I've lost it. Let me try and find it. Something regarding where I hope I haven't lost it. I'm going to find it. I think it was... just Viola that shared that to me. So I'm going to share my screen here, and I'll start with Bobby. Okay, Bobby, here's the comment I want us to look at here. This tweet right here by Absolute Chat, which says, those close to Chelsea takeover believe Todd Boehly wants to make two marquee signings and strengthen the squad significantly this summer, which is in line with Thomas Tuchel's vision. Two marquee signings, Bobby. Does any players come to mind? Do any players come to mind?
Do you know what? I have my somewhat, you can call it a sort of dream or semi-dream marquee, and then what I think is realistically going to happen. My dream marquee two signings, if indeed this is true at all, would be Kylian Mbappe and Declan Rice. I know lots of people don't like Rice, but that's just in an ideal world. However, what I do think might happen is very interesting. I believe we should, this is a major transfer window for Chelsea. This is a major transfer window. I know Tuchel's talking about building around Kante, and that's all well and good, but Kante is not going to give you a full season. I think we need to bring in both Tchouaméni and Declan Rice, if it's possible. We need goal scorers. There's talk of Timo Werner being sold. It seems from his record, he really is the striker that is most at risk of being sold. And if he's sold, then Chelsea have a decision to make. We've got to we've certainly got to bring back Armando Broja, and we've got to either go for somebody like Darwin Núñez or be bold. If Lewandowski is on a free, which I believe he is, or has he got 1 year left?
I don't think he will be on a free. I think I thought he was on a free, but True Blue corrected me. He said he wasn't leaving on a free. Yeah, he's still got a year left. So Barcelona will pay some money.
Okay, so not Barcelona. Forget Barcelona. They're linked to too many strikers, and I sincerely believe they'll be hard pushed to take on Lewandowski. I really do. They've got this Arsenal guy, what's his name? SX Arsenal.
Alba.
Aubameyang,
Oba.
who's doing well with them, and I think they've got a couple of others. But if Chelsea are allowed to, by our government, step into the picture, I sincerely believe Lewandowski will come to us, especially if he sees that we have a complement of other strikers. I don't think he would mind coming off the bench sometimes. Because consider his age. I mean, this guy's what, 33, 34, going on 35. And as a striker in the Premier League, you ain't going to play every game in the season. You're simply not. So that's the sort of area I'll be looking at. Now, we've got to do something about our strikers. A lot of tacticians have shown that, tactically in the defense and the midfield, we have patterns of play and things like that, but our strikers are just ad hoc. There's no rhythm to them. I think that's because there's no finishing to them. If you have finishing, you have rhythm. And we have every opportunity to finish. As Graham Souness said on Sky, if Cristiano Ronaldo was playing for Chelsea, he would have had more than 50 goals this season. So we've got to...
Yeah, that highlights exactly the issue we had, our friend. But go ahead, brother.
Yeah, I mean, so coming back to your initial question, who are the marquees? Well, it's got to be a central defender, and it's got to be a striker. I think we're already, linked with defenders, people like Jules Kunde, who is a must. And Koulibally, can he really cut it now at his age? I don't know. There's so many other centre-backs. There's Joska, and there's, is it Maximilian from Wolves? We've got to go for it. But what we're looking at there, guys, is almost an entirely new team in the defense and midfield, and new players in the front. We've got an entire rebuild, and that's why we have to keep our manager long term.
So which of the two players tops your list you think are going to be, you think you should qualifies for the term, marquee signing?
For me, in the midfield, we've got to go for, if we can't get too many, we get Declan Rice, for sure. In attack, I'm going to be different here. I'm going to be really different here. I think we should go for Darwin Núñez and keep Armando Broja. We're rebuilding anyway. Unfortunately, they have no one to learn from because...
Okay, here's the question for you, Bobby, before I miss it now. If you're signing Darwin Núñez and also keeping Armando Broja, because we need to make space for them. We have to sell before we sign.
Well, we're short in the centre forward anyway. So the only space that needs to be made will be to offload Timo Werner. That's all. Broja, Werner, as far as I'm concerned, as a finisher, is not better than Armando Broja. And Darwin Núñez, though it's yet to be seen, I think he will thrive in the attacking mobility that Thomas Tuchel wants. That's just in my opinion. I can see people going for Lewandowski because of his name, his achievements, and they think it's a guarantee. But I think if we've already done a deal for the granddad Pulisic, and then we've also got Thiago Silva, I think that's enough for the old players. We need some young and some players in their prime.
And while I'm still with you, Bobby, this question, this comment on the screen is because of your comment. So I want you to respond to it. And it says, not seeing us signing Mbappe, we are going to pay him 400K wages? Because the wage might be an issue to whoever we're looking at.
To be honest, they said that about Haaland, didn't they? And now Haaland barely earns more than Lukaku. I know that's why I said Kylian Mbappe is a dream, because he will come with high wages, but he's a free transfer. So he's going to come with high wages. But if there was any slim chance of getting hold of Mbappe, I would do that deal at the drop of a hat, because he will fit the way he plays. He will fit Tuchel. All those guys around him as well. He will definitely be good. And I would give away Lukaku to get Mbappe if the wages is a problem. But the thing is, I can't think of anybody in world football that's going to pay Lukaku what we pay him. That's the problem we have, and we know the history behind that. I don't want to keep going on about the board, but quite clearly he was a panic buy, and we're stuck with him. Yet again, investment in dead wood, like we did with Drinkwater, Zappacosta, and a number of others. That always haunts you.
Yeah, again, I don't know how that happened. Like you said, we're stuck with them. It's difficult to get rid of them. Yeah, we will. Come in if you have anything to say with regards to what Bobby said. But if you don't mind, I want to take a second. Tobago, I'm referring to you. I want to take a second to catch up with the comments in the chat, so I don't, get far too behind. Here again, besides we want to go to Madrid. That may well be the case. I cannot wait for the new owners to be announced officially so that we can go ahead and get those signings done. Again, I don't blame Thomas Tuchel for saying the UK government is, one of the reasons why I think something like one of the reasons why we're never going to catch up. We're finding it difficult to catch up with Man City and Liverpool. But again, I get your comment. I want it done too. Chomeni and Kuku. Again, that's another good suggestion there. That's nothing to address. I want to see if there's anything in the chat to address here. And Sheila says a poor finishing has been a problem at Chelsea since we lost Diego Costa and Hazard. Police columns here to Werner and Lukaku are poor for us, and this is over 3 seasons with poor attackers. Again, you could argue that, and that is your opinion. I have my reasons why I could argue why we're not putting chances away. I could say maybe Lukaku came in and compounded the situation. We were creating chances, we weren't just finishing chances. And then when he came, the situation became worse. And we had to change the way we play to accommodate him, but he isn't even scoring as much as we expect him to. Again, let me see if there's anything to say. Problem is striker and defend. Abrimayov. And for every other person that's watching, if you haven't, please do like the video. We have about 80 people watching, but we have just 53 likes. It takes just a second to like the video. And the more you show love to the channel by liking the video, the YouTube channel will be triggered and the stream will be pushed to people who would be interested in this particular topic. And if we have up to 100 people watching, we will have much fun and we will do a giveaway for $50 for whoever wins it. And please do subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And of course, don't forget to go check out Ty Talk CFC. He's young, but he understands football, especially from Chelsea's perspective. And I'll make sure, Ty, please don't let me forget to share his information in the chat. But I'll try and show his channel also on the stream before we get to the end of the show. Again, no point signing a striker or bringing Breuer back. No point having 3 strikers with the current system. Ronaldo is an attacking hybrid. Again, that makes perfect sense. Good argument right there. Goody says, if we sell or loan Werner, we should replace him with Vinicius Jr. if we can. And that is something you cannot. He's practically, a Marquis signing that they haven't spent so much for. His performance this season, for them this season and the past season, I don't think they'd let him go. A big striker who cannot get his free header on target. Steve Chelsea, again, this is an argument between you two there. Mbappe will want a 400 to 500K and a massive sign-on fee. It's not a secret Lukaku was Roman's choice, like Torres and Shevchenko. Again, it is more complicated. It's not that simple. Railing off players chosen by MLL as signings. Yep, there are signings too. Kepa should go. We need a backstar as our second choice this season. Sheila, tell me what you have against Kepa Arrizabalaga. And my brother here, Almighty Blues FC, says big up everyone. Big up to you too, brother. If you haven't, be sure to go check out Almighty Blues FC, a great channel. So Ty, I am coming to you. When you read this comment, what players come to mind?
For me, can you hear me first of all?
Yeah, we can.
Okay, good. Because sometimes my earphones doesn't work. But anyways, for me, what I think of is that this could be quite easily the defense.
Oh, Ty, if you don't mind, please 1 second. Tobago says he wanted to say something, and he maybe
go ahead.
I hope you understand, brother.
Yeah, no problem. Let him go.
Okay, Tobago apologies and Ty agrees. Go ahead, Tobago.
Yes, thank you, guys. For me, two marquee signings, I would say Christopher Nkunku and Darwin Nunes, because I know like we need a defensive midfielder. That is a must. We should not sleep on that. But for me, I would say Christopher Nkunku and Darwin Nunes for me, because like
You think those will be the
Darwin,
two market signings?
from me personally, but as Bobby said, I'll be happy if you can get both Tchouameni and Rice, but only if West Ham will reduce the price for Rice, then I'll be happy. And also from my research about Todd Boehly, first season at LA Dodgers, he spent massively for the team, and then they started to rebuild every season then there. So I hope that will be the same thing when it comes to Chelsea. Just back to Girl, build from the back and build from the midfielder. And if we can sell Timo Werner, whoever wants to go, we get the Nkunku and Darwin Nunes. That'll be perfect. If we can't get Nkunku, I want Nunes. One of the two.
Again, that's a good argument, but we'll see. And I wanted to ask Bobby something quickly before I go to Ty. Bobby, you did say something about us having signing midfielders, and the midfielders you suggested were Tchouameni and Rice. Am I correct, Bobby?
Yes, that's right. That's right.
Okay,
By the way,
here's
big
the
up,
thing.
DJ.
Yeah, here's the thing. A big up to you, DJ. I'll come to you soon, brother. And here's the thing about those two midfielders. For the past, from under Mauricio Sarri to the current, to our current manager, we haven't had midfielders that you could say has the midfielders that have had an acceptable number of goals contribution. So shouldn't we be looking for midfielders who can also create chances? Even goals contribution includes creating chances and scoring goals. Shouldn't we be looking for midfielders who can score goals? Who has a good number of goals from the midfield and also chance creation? Because that's an area you can argue. Because if you create more chances, chances are our attackers will score more goals. So what do you think? Those two players, they don't bring that. Do you think otherwise?
Tchouameni and Rice, the one thing they do bring is not only are they ball winners, but they are good distributors from deep, and they have a shot on them, which we have lacked from midfield. The kind of midfielder
But how many goals combined?
Sorry?
How many goals combined? That's the thing.
Well, the midfield is divided into three, as far as I'm concerned. You have your defensive midfielders, which those two belong. Then you'll have your central midfielders and your attacking midfielders. Remember, we have people like Conor Gallagher to come back. That's where our goals will come from. We have in the central midfield position perhaps a bit of a conundrum, but that we can sort out with someone like although the Mason Mount is an attacking midfielder, if he's a midfielder at all. But within the central region, well, Tchouameni can play there well, because your centre mid doesn't have to be a goal scorer. Ideally, he can be, but it's very rare to get the player of the quality of a Fabregas or of the quality of a Luka Modric. I hear we've been linked with Casemiro, but that's another defensive midfielder. So I don't know. I haven't seen anybody in world football yet that fits that bill in the center of midfield that we can go for. But I think if we patch our defensive midfield problems and bring in, I forgot about Nkunku, bring in people like Nkunku, Darwin Nunes, if possible, Dembele, and at least make sure that our strikers and our wingers are capable of scoring, it'll be a better situation than we're in now.
Mm. Yeah, I think you make a good argument, but again, that kind of midfield, the type of midfielders that I'm talking about, I think even if they play at the deep lying role, they still contribute, have a good measure of goals contributions by the end of the season. I don't goals contribution, but I don't think they're very rare these days. I think, again, the way coaches play, usually the primary responsibility of the two sexes in our case is just protect the defense, link the defense to the midfield and the attack. But I think we should be doing better in terms of their goals contributions. So Ty, quickly, can you come in so that I can bring in a DJ? When you look at this this tweet on the screen, what comes to mind? What two players come to mind to you?
What two players come to mind is a defender and a midfielder. Now, I've been hearing everybody who has spoken so far mention attackers and things like that. But for me, I've always shared this perspective that you cannot be looking at the attack the way you're looking at it, because for most of the players, yes, there's been players who were miscouted, and the way they were scouted probably wasn't the best. But
all right, Ty, are you still there?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, so basically what I'm saying is that you cannot be saying that you need to be doing looking to the attack when you have so many players who probably were miscouted in some cases, but at the same time, the reason why they were brought in is because they were able to do things. Ziyech, we've seen what he can do in a forward, and it just means that he's limited. For me, I think we've spent 300 million on the attack in the past 3 years, obviously barring the transfer ban year, but we've spent 300 million. The fact
and still
is,
haven't solved our major problems.
Exactly. That's what I'm going to. The midfield and the defense. We're losing Rudiger now, but the way I've looked at it is that I look at it in a poetic way. New era, new ownership, new players, and a new team. The team itself has had its mentality issues. I've always complained about them not being mentally strong. Anything that any little thing happens, they're affected. The midfield is something that needs to be fixed because Bobby mentioned something about
fantastic. Sorry, mate.
No worries. The thing is, Bobby mentioned something about Fabregas. Fabregas could not be the midfielder that he is without having a defensive midfielder who allowed him to be assured.
Disciplined defensive midfielder.
Like a Matic. As soon as the funny thing is, it's been half of a decade since we lost Matic. And ever since then, he hasn't won anything at Man United, and he's on the verge of leaving as well. The thing is, if you don't have a defensive midfielder, we've seen what happens. And if you think about it, Jorginho, he barely gets injured compared to Kante and Kovacic. Both of them have to be doing the offensive side. And you're seeing this now with Kante. Kante is going forward more. He's trying to create. You're seeing it with Kovacic. Kovacic has had a new role under Tuchel, trying to be that 8. He wears number 8 now. But without having a defensive midfielder, both of them will have to be going forward and backwards. You need someone who can support them in the midfield, which is why for me, we need to fix the midfield first before we look at the attack. Because for me, I will look at it in the sense where you can't build a house by, basically starting with the floor, then you go up to the roof. You need to build the walls first. You need to build a foundation first before you can actually complete the house. You can't be looking to the attack and then the midfield is being disregarded, because even though the attack is not doing good, you also need to be having more players in the box. And the reason we can't have that is because there's defensive frailties in the midfield and you can't be reliant on them. We brought in players like Ziyech and Pulisic because of what they were doing elsewhere. Yes, they haven't been good, but if you don't have the midfield who can support them, allow for more players to be in the box, then you cannot be having a progression forward. So the midfield is a priority, and obviously defense is, because we're losing basically 70% of our defense. So for me, I believe that the defense and midfield should be looked at. Yes, we can sign players like a Dembele. I know that's probably not your preference. Nkunku is another one, but people are saying that he suits certain profile of a team, like a counter attack. I mean, people say that we're looking at a Lukaku situation. But for me, look at the attack, spend money on the attack, but focus on the defensive midfield, because long term, you need to be focusing on the priorities of the defense, because we've seen a lot of time where the team the defense is set in a 1v1, and that is because the midfield sometimes is non-existent because you have them being out of position. They're caught. Oh, get a defensive midfielder who can support it, and like a Tchouaméni. Tchouaméni has been playing as a lone DM for Monaco, and that is something that you need because he plays right behind the other attacking midfielders, and he plays right in front of the defense. So getting somebody like that can be crucial, and that's what we need. That's all I have to say, honestly.
Wow, that is so brilliant. I feel like applauding you, and even I think Bobby admired your inputs from that. That some greater perspective on what we really need. That shows how much you understand the game, and that's why I've asked everybody that's watching, please take some time, go follow Ty Talks on Twitter, and also check out his YouTube channel. Great content. He's a kid, but he knows the game very well, especially from the perspective of Chelsea Football Club. I will soon come to DJ in a bit. But DJ, please give me some time to catch up with the chat so I'm not far too behind. And now we have 92 people watching, and my promise is the moment we get 100 plus, we will do a giveaway of which the winner will get $50, and you get it immediately if you have PayPal, Western Union. Money order would take me a few days to get to where I can do that. But that's, by the way, please do like the video. The more you like the video, the more the YouTube algorithm will be triggered, and the stream will be pushed to more people who would like this particular topic. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't, and let us help us reach 2K people as soon as possible. And of course, the notification button so you don't miss anything. And if you are watching, if you're still there, Josh Viola, the Queen of the House, please, I sent you a DM on Twitter. Please do check it. Here, my brother, Almighty Blues FC, please be sure to go check out his YouTube channel. Great content also. I'd want Nkunku, Chiesa, latter being injured, still what, in my opinion, Tchouaméni Rice needed to change our system. CB, again, that's your opinion, but I get your point. And Kepa has a spaghetti risk. I don't want to talk about that. I think he's a good goalkeeper, but I have my reservations on how Thomas Tuchel has handled the selection process of the goalkeepers, but we're not here to talk about that. Let me see if there's anything to address here. Wow, Ankit, that sounds great. I totally forgotten about Chiesa. I don't really like him. I don't think it fit in our system properly. Again, that's me. I think if he comes, we'll still have the same issue we're having as Lukaku. Remember, again, loan or sell Werner, try out Broja. I like Broja to come back, but then again, we'd have to make a space for us. And I think you've made the point already in your comment. And here we have Edson Alvarez. Ajax is who we should buy. Edson Alvarez, I don't know him that much, but if you're here and you know him that much, help educate us on what type of a player he is. Again, I think Rice can play in two different positions. He can as a center back and as a DM. Again, he can other positions too, but again, do I want Rice? If we can get him, I want him, but I don't think he's the best option for us, given that N'Golo Kante will most likely remain at the club. I think if we're realistic, we would potentially sign Tchouaméni. He's a marquee signing, and Ibrahim Sangare as a DM from PSV, who both we and Liverpool have been linked to. Surely a good signing if we pull. Again, look, Modway, you make a perfect sense there. And
that is a player we're linked to Sangare. Ibrahim Sangare, he's a player from PSV. He's a good player too. Good DM.
Yep. Great point. And look, if you haven't, please be sure to like the video and also subscribe to the channel. And thank you for that great input right there. Rice can also shoot outside of it. He can, but how many goals has he scored? Nkunku is a counter-attacking player in a possession-based team where in EPL sits back in closer spaces. He may suffer. Again, that's a great point. Tchouaméni is like a very young Mikel, very similar with better creation. I agree, and more. You could say more. Agile than Mikel was. Mikel is more on the camp side. Towards, you could say, Jorginho on controlling the pace of the game. He did that quite well. 100 million for Rice, I think that's too high. Edson Alvarez can play in a 2 as a lone DM. Again, it's a good shout right there. Great call. And goodness, let me see. Good Ampad to be used. Ampad could be used as a backup DM and maybe, with time, develop into a complete DM. But he's been playing in numerous positions that you could argue the kid at this point is confused. and we seem to forget that he's still young. You have 70 likes. I think let's get this to 100 likes before we get to the 2-hour mark. I think that would be great. We should get Milinkovic-Savic in midfield. I think that's another great shout there. Again, Patrick says Chidi seemed to be from my place. Chidi Kekime. Nunes is a bomb. I would rather we keep Werner than buy Nunes. Again, if you haven't, please be sure to like the video and also subscribe to the channel if you haven't. I believe Nunes will be wrong move for us. He's too young. Again, the age doesn't really matter. If the player is good, we should get him or maybe loan him back to the team where we'll buy him. But it all comes down to what Thomas Tuchel wants. Chelsea should go for Saint Maxima. No, please. Again, that's me. If you love him, that's you. I think he could be 30 and still be playing like he's a raw talent. His final decision making to me is a problem. Lukaku arrived with these issues similar to Drogba. He got injured and COVID. Should stop being lazy. Read the interview transcript. I didn't talk about that. Again, maybe you're having a conversation with people there. CFC Stevens says, big up DJ. Some love for you from somebody in the chat. Goody Summer to okay, again, conversation between them. Rodrigo Ruggers, this is just conversation between them. I think more caught up. There's nothing here to address again. So DJ, I'm going to come back to you. Looking at this comment on the screen, this tweet on the screen, what two players come to mind? And again, you can make it your choice, or maybe you think that most likely the two marquee signings that Chelsea will make. Okay, I haven't added DJ. Sorry, DJ, I haven't added you. Go ahead, brother. I hope you heard my question.
Yeah, I heard your question, bro. Big up to everyone, first of all. I hope you're all well. Thanks for having me on your show, as always, Coachila.
Big up to you, brother.
Yeah, listen, for me, what comes to mind, I think, is a creative midfielder. Who do we go and get out there? Obviously, we've not had one since Cesc Fabregas. I think that's the kind of player we need in there to pass the balls for our forwards to go and score the goals that we need. I'm not sure there's many of them out there. Who comes to mind straight away, I don't know. But for me, Tchouaméni has always been one of my choices for a DM role and for a DM midfielder as one of those marquee signings. I think he has everything you want in a player. He can shoot from outside the box. He can score goals. You know, he can bring others into play. He's running off the ball. You know, he can play the DM role. He can play the attacking role. You know, he can do literally everything. And I think he's a kind of player that we know. I know people are saying Declan Rice. I think he's a good option as well. I think he's not a bad, but for the price tag, it depends on how much the Boehly's. When they talk about this, we've got to be careful as well of what they do. When it's about a marquee signing, we also want to know how much he wants to spend on a marquee signing. Now, if we're talking Declan Rice, you're literally talking from West Ham have been quoting us. They've been talking over 100 million for him. Is Declan Rice worth over 100 million? I don't think he is. Not for a midfielder that plays in his position. If you're going to spend that kind of money, I'd look at more of the forward roles, more of the attacking roles. If you're going to do that kind of thing, that kind of money, like your Mbappe's or like your players like that come to mind. Your Harry Kanes and players like that. Obviously Haaland, Lewandowski. These kind of players you would think that kind of money would be spent on. Even though Lewandowski's 32 years old, he's not going to come for that amount of money. But it's just an example. But they're the kind of players I'll be looking at for that kind of money. But Tchouaméni for me, I think he would be great. People say he'll be a risky business. I don't think he will be. I think, and I've watched enough of him because obviously I've watched the French league as well since we've been linked with this kid, and I've been watching him play. He's been brilliant, and I think if he can come in, all right, and sort out midfield out for us, I think he'll be great. The other situation I'm talking about is probably an attacking player. We're probably looking more at the wingers. Again, who comes to mind? Well, I've heard names of Ousmane Dembele being mentioned. He could be one option. And Nkunku, another player.
Can I just come in quickly?
Yeah,
here's the thing. I know my brother Uggs were probably looking for me to shoot me right now.
Yeah, God.
I still have this argument. Dembele comes with lots of baggage.
Right.
And I don't think the club will look beyond that. I keep saying that because if it was that easy, they'd sign him. They'd complete the signing by now, and the only thing that'd be left would be for him to start coming to Chelsea. We have lots of sponsors from the Asian market. And remember where the sponsor, where Dembele presents an issue in terms of, from a sponsorship perspective, is that Rakuten, for instance, when Barcelona didn't say anything about the Dembele Antoine Griezmann issue, they started asking questions. You get my point now. Now, what I'm trying to say in effect is this: some sponsors will ask questions because the apology that was tendered by Dembele and Griezmann wasn't that good. If you go through it, they're practically saying that it's good to say you didn't know that was going to be a problem, but that's the way you phrase an apology, then it will come across as, yeah, you're really sorry. But it doesn't sound like they were both about it. And again, it's not just one incident. There were other incidents also that you will learn about once you research that racist, issue that Dembele had. And again, remember, Chelsea fans had issue with the club trying to go for Antoine Griezmann. They were saying, oh, he's racist. But in the video in question, Dembele did all the talking. All Griezmann did was laugh. We seem to forget that. But that's not me. I don't have a problem. I get your point. It's not up to you. But we're really being linked to it. I'm just bringing this to a point. So go ahead, brother.
No, you know what? I agree 100% with what you're saying, Coachila. I'm not saying that he could be the one. I'm just saying he's been mentioned as a player and a guy who's actually worked with Thomas Tuchel in the past. And I do believe Thomas Tuchel sings his praises to the max. I think when we were trying to get him back in January, I do believe Thomas Tuchel was hoping we would have got him in. Now, the only reason I'm in terms of the racing, I wouldn't know, as you know, I probably wouldn't want no player that is like that coming to the football club. I get that all. But when people are talking about what players are out there to go and get, mentioning him, and obviously I'm looking at the free transfer market situation, he would come on a free. But I get that side of it. I was just going to say, my only downside of it, what I was going to say about the Dembele thing, my only downside of it all is the baggage he comes with. And we all know what that is. And we've just mentioned it now. That's what I was going to mention to your point, or to the point I was going to make. That's the only reason why I wouldn't want him at the football club, for that reason, because of that one reason that he's done in the past. Okay, but I'm just seeing strong links to him, and I was just thinking, could that be a player that could come in and change? Yes, I get all that. The racist thing could be the only factor that would put me off him coming to us. Another player that's obviously been mentioned is Rafinha. Again, is he a statement signing? No. Is he a big money signing? I don't know if he's a big money signing. When you talk about a big money signing, I look at Lewandowski. That to me goes out there. That's what you call a statement, big money signing to come in at our football club, because I think he could be the player that could come in and scores the goals that we need, and do a job that Lukaku's currently not doing, that he's been brought in to do. What happens to Lukaku after that? I don't know. Lukaku may need another season, but do we have that? Do we have the the opportunity to give him another season? Does Todd Boehly think to himself, you know what, we brought you in, do I make a loss on you? Do I give you that extra season, see what you can do for us? Or does Thomas Tuchel? They're obviously both going to decide this together. I mean, there'll be a lot of questions asked about Lukaku, I think, come the end of the season. I think a lot of people, think he's going to stay next season. I think there'll be a lot of questions asked about him. Timo Werner, I've always been an advocate for Timo Werner. You keep calling me his client. I'm his lawyer for him. Listen, on Timo Werner,
you are his lawyer, by the way, but go ahead.
But I really, really get the Chelsea fan base when it comes to him being a frustrating player for us, because what frustrates me with him is I know the guy's got the tools. I think we all know the guy's got the tools to be a great player. But in the Premiership, I don't think it's maybe right for him in the Premiership. Maybe sell him off. I mean, there's talk that Bayern Munich want him. Do we try and involve him in a deal with Lewandowski to come in? Okay, that could be another option. And Kuku, as I've mentioned already, midfielder Sangara, I know he's been mentioned, another good midfielder that could come in. And I think people are also forgetting about another guy who could come in on a free transfer who's a good midfielder, and that is the boy from the free transfer, the French midfielder. You get Kamara. He's another option that could come in on a free as well, who's not a bad player either. So there are some options out there. But obviously for me, I think what we need to do is obviously get a Rudiger replacement in first and a Christensen replacement. That for me is the most important factor before you look at the other team, or the other sides of the team.
Yeah, I think that's a brilliant comment. And you did mention some good players that we could get on a free. Again, Lewandowski will be a marquee signing if we're able to get him. But I think it will be a difficult one. But Bobby will always argue the strive first, and let alone let it be that it doesn't work out again. Like I said, when he made that comment, I said, yes, that's the truth. If you don't buy tickets, you're never gonna win a lottery. You have to try first. Again, with that, I want to ask people, we have just 64 likes, and I know quite well we can do better than that. We'll try shooting for 200 likes, and we're not even halfway, but you can make that happen by liking the video, and also subscribe to the channel if you haven't, to help us reach 2K subscribers as soon as possible. We've gained a few subscribers today, but we can do more. So please like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And I'm waiting the moment we've gotten to 96 people watching at the time. If we hit 100 people watching, we will do a giveaway. Charlie, it's a promise, and I do keep my promise in that. Here, let me try and catch up with the chat before I go to Bobby and Ty again. Unfortunately, I think Fairboy has gone. Maybe he's busy. He says, Werner does the positioning and running, but he needs to aim rather than shoot straight at goalies. Again, my argument for Werner, my defense of him before I gave up and left the whole defense of Werner to DJ Saab was his decoy runs. That got us a few goals last season. Even in the Champions League final, he used it to effectively to create a space for Kai Havertz. But that's by the way. And here we have a Book of Eden. Okay, again, this is a conversation. The non-negotiable price from West Ham is 100 million. They don't want to release him. He still has 3 seasons to go. So we cannot wait for him, and we cannot spend that much money on him just because we can be patient and get him for cheap. And again, like I've argued before, I think Declan Rice will look at Manchester United knowing that they don't have a defined defensive midfielder, and Chelsea Football Club knowing that N'Golo Kante is still at the club, that maybe Manchester United will be the better option for him. Again, that's my argument. Cho is best in Werner's spot. Maybe that may be the case. He's played there before as a number 8 against Sports. I think that was last season, and he was brilliant in that game. Nkunku is skilled enough to play in TT's system because he can dribble. Again, we need, Thomas Tuchel, I think we'll talk about that. He's players that thrive in in the way he likes to approach games, players who are able, to play their way out of tight spaces, still progress the ball no matter how the oppositions press you. I think we'll see more signs that be able to do that. And that's why Kovacic, no matter what happens, stays at Chelsea Football Club, because he's a master at dribbling his way out of tight spaces and also progressing the ball, no matter how players you have on him and how many players that press him. But the rest of our players in the current team usually, finds the easy way out, which is passing the ball backwards or sideways and don't progress the ball when opponents break. I think Reece James also is an exception, and Callum on his day. But that's, by the way, he says, Book of Eden said Frankie de Jong is good option. He's on the market at the moment, and we don't know what Thomas Tuchel wants, but we'll find out. Why can't we just mention or get anyone? We need players that fit in the team. I think that's what's going to happen. If really Todd Boehly wants results, he will let Thomas Tuchel say the players he wants before we do anything. Tuchel would rather drop players rather than adapt to his players' skills. Again, you could argue that too. Tchouaméni would be an expensive and risky backup for Jorginho. No, Tchouaméni would be more of a backup to N'Golo Kante than Jorginho. I think his game is more aligned to how N'Golo Kante plays than Jorginho. And here we spent 95 million for Lukaku. Chelsea can also do the same for Rice. Maybe under Roman Abramovich, not under the numbers man Todd Boehly. Good as we played 4-3-3 versus Sports 3 times. Real Madrid away. All our defeats have been with a 3-4-2. Again, that's some interesting statistics right there. Ziyech is a right wing or cam. He was never a 10 until Tuchel. I watched him again. That's correct. Ziyech does better when you play him as a cam or in the right wing position where he can cut back and orchestrate some magic with his left foot. Steve, the price is not 95 million, it's 100. Again, even at 95, it's still high. Like the stream, everyone, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Become a family, part of the Chelsea Perspective family, and you're all welcome. Thank you very much for saying that, Queen of the House. Just Viola. Dembele is a statement, will be a statement signing if you haven't. But I doubt, again, this is not me campaigning against Dembele. I don't have anything against him. This is me just being objective. Things I know that the club will most likely not look beyond. Again, that's me. Odds will be upset if you say anything negative about Billy G and Dembele. I know he will already be looking to reach out to me and say, I don't like what you said about Dembele. He's done that on occasions, but he's joking anyway. And I love him, and I know he loves me too as a brother. Steve Chelsea, different between DM and strikers. Yep. Audio, can you guys still hear me? Why is it audio static? I don't think it's from me. Dembele signing will automatically lose Yokohama Tires. That's a chance that happened, which is an Asian company that still sponsors Chelsea. So that's a great point. Let me see if there's anything else to address here. Just want to say, I know no one is talking about the racist side of Dembele. All are going to bringing Dembele, but a lot objected when it seemed as if the club was going to sign, what's his name, Antoine Griezmann, to be. I have to learn my new club in offensive. You always like to fight with me, Phantom, but you know I love you. Dembele cannot be statement signing, injury prone and expensive. Yep, that's another good argument. Which Chelsea fans' rights is good. Anything else to address here? I don't think there's anything else to address. Maybe this one here. Let me see. Alonso off. We will replace all the defenders. Get one that can play in a 2 center back. Rudiger plays in a 4 perfectly well for Germany. If he couldn't play in a 4, Carlo wouldn't chase him. I think that makes sense. And then that begs the question if he'll be as good as he is in a 3, in a 4. But that's by the way, I wish him all the best. Shifty says, who do you think will be better in 5 years, Liverpool or Chelsea? I think us. If you ask me, I don't know. Bobby, you want to answer that one quickly?
Who will be better in 5 years?
Yeah,
I think
Liverpool
it depends
or us.
on what Chelsea do in the transfer market this summer. If Chelsea go in the right direction this summer and we give Thomas Tuchel an extended contract, we will definitely be better than Liverpool.
Yeah, I believe that. It depends what we do. It all comes down to what we do this summer. And again, a great input there from Bobby. DJ, you want to say anything about that?
Yeah, 100% agree with Bobby. I think I've always said this in the beginning, Coachila, and Bobby again. Me and Bobby literally agree on everything. Everything he says, I agree with. I think the things I say, he agrees with me on as well. I can't agree anymore. I said Thomas Tuchel for me is the most important factor in this whole thing because I know there are some fans out there that have got on his back, and I think it's out of nothing really. This guy has done so much since he's come to the football club, and you know. For me, what you do, first thing you do, give him a 5-year contract, change his title from head coach to manager, and say to him, you manage the team. You tell me the plays that you want. I'll do my best to go and get them for you. And you just build a winning team out of this team. You got the time to do it. And we'll follow that. If we follow that way, like Man City and Liverpool have done with Klopp and Pep, we've got a good manager that can last us for years and years and years at the football club. And we just need to appreciate him while we've got him because there's not too many managers out there that I can think of that is better than him. People can argue Zinedine Zidane. For me, no. I think if you don't give Zinedine Zidane the money, he doesn't do anything. You give him a Brighton team, for example. I don't think he wins anything with Brighton without any money. So whereas Thomas Tuchel has actually done it with minds in the back. He's done it with his previous clubs when he started out.
Yeah, Bobby calls it miracle. Go ahead.
Yeah, exactly what it is, and Bobby's right again on that, and that's exactly what it is. And you know, we've got the manager now, and I think we've got to build with this guy, 100%.
Brilliant, the response right there. Ty, quickly, let me catch up with the chat so we can move on to the next topic.
I've got 2 things I really want to address, Coach, if that's all
right.
Yeah,
go ahead, then, Ty. Ty, I hope you don't mind, brother.
Sorry,
yeah,
Ty.
That's fine.
Yeah, go ahead, Bobby.
Say, you know, one is slightly controversial. The other, well, you know, is logical. I'll start with the logical one. Right now, because we're going to lose as many as 6, if not more, players from our first team squad. This isn't the dead wood or anything. Anything we bring in now is a risk. So all these players, people saying, oh, Tchouameni's a risk, oh, so-and-so's a risk. They're all a blooming risk. because most of them wouldn't have ever played in the Premier League before. That's why I think you might find we'll end up doing a deal for Declan Rice. Because
at that price,
he won't go at that price. I think that's just bluffing, especially now that he's declined that silly 8-year contract and sent a message that he would like to leave West Ham. I think if you drop, money talks. He's going to be expensive, that's for sure. I don't think anybody has actually come and dropped 80 million on the table and told them, look, let's start talking. You do that, they will not turn their back on it. Now, I can't see them turning their back on it, to be honest. If they do, well, fine. But, that's why we will try and go for him, because he's more than Premier League proven, and we need that in the team. And that's why I don't see Cesar Azpilicueta going, because the defenders, no matter how good they are, no matter even if it's Koulibally or whatever that we bring in, they're going to need players that have been there, seen it, done it in the team to advise them. My second point now is this whole Dembele thing. Now, it's slightly controversial.
Yeah, so I'm guessing you're probably on the side of Oaks. Go ahead.
No. Let me just be 100% firm here, because we always have the woke brigade come and attack me for anything I say. And
No. I'm not attacking you, and I know you know that.
No, not you at all, at all. But I just want to say, racism, religious bigotry, sexism, all these things, I have nothing to do with that. All I simply do is just speak my mind and try and be realistic. I don't have time for any of those sort of emotions. I don't support them. It's not what I'm about. This Tchouameni issue, it is an issue, and there is a slight possibility, and I think it's a slight possibility, it could aggravate some Asian sponsors.
So, okay, you mean a Dembele, because you said Tchouameni issue. I know that was a slip of tongue.
No, the Tchouameni issue is about whether he's experienced enough or he's a gamble. I don't think he's a gamble at all. The Dembele issue is this race issue. Now, look, listen. A lot of these, I mean, what sort of sponsorships have we got going here? We forget these are what? 20, 21, 22-year-old boys, right? I mean, what are we expecting in this world today? We think everybody has to go around like the angel Gabriel and have no fault, don't do anything wrong. Football is littered with players constantly making mistakes. And I don't really, I'm not from Asia. I fully understand the sentiment behind it. I really, really do. But the kid has apologized, whether it sounded genuine or not. We've seen every day people come out in floods of tears pretending to be sorry, but they're not. I mean, where and when do we draw a line under something and move on? That's my point. There's always rehabilitation. There must always be forgiveness. I like to count myself as a Christian, and I believe we work under the principle of forgiveness. If not, this world will never heal from anything. We've got to be able to move on. And as far as I'm concerned, if I was doing a deal with Dembele, I will surround him with people to advise him. He will have interviews. He can come out in that interview, say, look, I'm happy. I'm so happy I've signed for Chelsea. It's a new way forward. I'm really, really sorry for my silly past, but I just think this is a fresh start. And look for some charity or something to donate to in Asia. This is how it's done. It's PR. He's got some bad PR. It can be fixed. It shouldn't be an inhibition. That's just my point. If the coach feels he can work with Dembele, I think we have to go with Dembele. If there are sponsors that are stupid enough in all the problems we have in this world to worry about what came out of the mouth of a 21-year-old kid, I don't see it personally. That's just in my opinion.
Yeah, again, you make some great point here, and I want to let you know, again, that's why we have to talk about these things. Have I learned anything from what you just said? I learned quite a lot of stuff. I learned how a PR, that is, a strategic PR approach, a statement could just, help, solve the whole problem. If he signs for Chelsea, comes out and makes a statement saying, I'm sorry for my past, I shouldn't have done that. And again, to ask for forgiveness, I'm donating such and such amount to a charity organization in Asia, or maybe the country where it happened, that solves the whole problem. Again, that's why I say there's always something to learn when you have a learned argument or civilized argument, if you prefer. I think that makes sense. But again, we can all agree it is, again, Chelsea can't just sign him and not say anything and him not say anything and the problem will go away, because we're a club that we have a target from all the media, platforms on our backs as Chelsea fans and at Chelsea as a club, as an entity. So if that happens without any PR strategy, to nullify it, we're in trouble. Because as DJ South mentioned the last time we talked about it, is that this club, we're still battling racial discrimination issues that we've had in the past. So if this happens, people are going to start asking questions on our stance really against discrimination. But you make a good point. There's a way out of it. Will Dembele be willing to do it? That remains to be seen. And again, like you said, if the manager wants him, we should just go ahead and assign him. And with that, quickly, I want to ask people in the chat. We have 76 likes while we have around 81 people watching. So we can still, 87 people watching. If you look at it from YouTube, on YouTube, so we can still get to 100 likes at least. So if you haven't, please be sure to smash the like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Let me quickly breeze through the chat and I'll come back to Ty and then DJ. This year, by goodness gracious, we need a backup to Jorginho. That is why we don't need so many. We have Kante and Kova playing the box-to-box role besides Jorginho, and Gallagher cannot join them next season for depth. Can join them. Here's the thing. I want to educate you something. We don't use the term backup here. We talk about good players. We go for all starters. Anybody can start as long as you're fit, as long as you're the most informed player, you start. We should start, Chelsea fans should start, doing away with that mentality of having a backup and a starter. That's why that's one of the reasons why we're not winning the Premier League this season, because once our starting players got injured in the midfield area, on right wing back, left wing back, exactly, we started having issues. So stop using that language here. I hope that doesn't come across as insulting to you. That's just how we talk here. We're trying to change the mindset of Chelsea fans to understand we need all starters and the best competition in every position. Whoever that's most informed starts. This is DJ Staff saying about the sales price of, if I'm allowed to phrase it that way, Declan Rice, 80 million pounds. Is that euros or pounds? I'm not sure. Again, you do the research yourself and come to a conclusion what you think it is.
It's too many. It's too
is that Chouameni's price?
Yeah, that's what it will cost.
Oh my goodness.
That'll be in English money, yeah.
Oh my goodness. And we had a chance to get him for around 35, 40 million.
That is why I'll always be frustrated, because we had the opportunity to get him for less last season and the scout said he wasn't ready. But I've already accepted that was nonsense.
Yeah, Chelsea scouting.
Rubbish.
Oh my goodness. That is so annoying. Now he's 3 times the price.
Yeah, instead we scouted Sal Niguez instead of him.
It's deserved because of what he's done this season.
Yeah, go ahead. But we knew then. I think it was Amaya in a scouting for Chelsea episode. He argued that Chelsea should get him at that point. If Chelsea don't right now, his price tag will most likely go up. And Amaya is very correct. Now if we want him, we'll have to pay almost 3 times the price. DJ, go ahead. You were saying something.
No, I was just saying we were scouting Sal Niguez instead of him, and we could have got him. The plan originally was to bring him in. Maybe let him go back on loan to Monaco, and then you bring him back in the summer. That's what the plan was originally. And then instead, the scouts decided, no, we don't want to do that. Let's go and we've been scouting Sal Niguez for the last 2 years. Let's go and bring him into the football club.
Exactly, he was injured. He was injured 2 years ago.
and on 200k a week on top of that. That's more adds insult to injury.
Yeah, here's some good arguments here. Well, at least Dembele is not Ricketts. That's a good one. Yes, there's something called redemption after all, because that nearly happened. We dodged the bullet there. But I think this is brilliant. Yes, there's something called redemption. But as a Christian, the way is that you have to ask for forgiveness first in a sincere manner for you to be forgiven. And it's the same, I believe it's the same with my Muslim brothers too. You have to sincerely ask for forgiveness before you get forgiveness. But it makes sense. And Bobby he did put it so well. If it comes in a statement, a PR statement, strategic PR statement will help solve the problem. Well, at least, that's a good point. I see, just real, absolutely, again, agreeing with you. You are spot on, Coach. Thank you very much for that. I appreciate that. So, at least, finally, some love for me in the chat. It has always been Bobby, DJ, Ty, or any other person, but for me, finally, I got some, some big up from somebody who loves my inputs too. We just need a sitting, a destroyer CDM midfielder, someone who breaks down opposition's attackers and does the dirty work. Again, in my opinion, we need midfielders. Chomeni can do that quite well. We need midfielders.
Exactly him.
Yeah, we need midfielders. Yeah, Mr. Super Chat. Oh, you see, I think I need a studio engineer. I will get back to that, brother, in a bit. And thank you again. Let me see it. Over here in the States, words on the streets. Don't be surprised if Tesla is our main shirt sponsor next season. I think we can get a lot of money from them if they do.
Elon Musk.
Tell me why it's funny. DJ, tell me why it's funny. You were laughing.
No,
Elon Musk, it's hilarious.
It's the way. What's his name? I think it was Ty or someone laughed at it when I heard, and I just laughed because the way he laughed. That was all it was. Someone made him laugh. That's all it was. That's the reason why. It's the way. That's all, bruv. Nothing more. I think it's a good sponsor, personally.
Yeah. Yeah, the guy himself is a nutcase, if you ask me. But go ahead. You were saying something.
Who?
Ty, were you saying something? Sorry.
Yeah, I was saying two things. I was saying that Elon Musk, Tesla, that'd be hilarious. And I mean, if Barcelona can get Spotify, why can't we get Tesla?
Yeah, I think we can. It will be big money, but I think he probably forget the words on the street. I don't think it's true. If it is true, I'll take it because it will be quite a lot of money. And a phantom of many topics. Sorry, I missed the super chat, brother. I appreciate that. And again, you've contributed so much to on the panel and in the chat. You don't have to, donate for me to read your comment. But I think maybe that will start a fight with DJ. Let me see. This is worth $5. Yeah, it is worth. Werner doesn't aim because Werner cannot dribble without looking at his feet. This is something that we all learned in youth league. Again, I don't want to start bashing Werner here. If I start bashing him, there's a lot of bad stuff I would say, and I'm not like that. I'm just going to say, I think in terms of, I think one-on-ones, I think he's without space. I think that's an issue for him. If anybody else want to say something about that, you go ahead.
What Phantom said here is true. I mean, he's not the only person. Anybody who's trying to move the ball in the attack, the head is always down. The only person I don't really see do that is Pulisic, and that's because he's a natural dribbler. But the only thing is that he isn't consistent with finishing. So that's the only downside to Pulisic. But you have, but if players are not confident in what they're going to be doing with the ball at their feet, it has to do with them not learning about those things from early, doing things. And I mean, it's not downplaying the academy regarding Mason Mount, because obviously they have to teach you certain aspects of what you need to be doing.
I think we're young. Okay, go ahead.
Are you still here, man?
Yeah, we can hear you. Go ahead, brother.
Yeah, but for that, I mean, with Werner cannot dribble. He has this one-sided thing of going wide, trying to go to the corner flag, or if he doesn't go to the corner flag, he tries to cross the ball in. Sometimes he goes into the box and he goes past everybody, or just goes right in front of the defender.
Yeah, Werner for me operates with a lot of lots of spaces. Once the opponents defend deep, sometimes he gets lucky with a 1-2 play with his teammates. But overall, I think he lacks his deficiencies as a problem with the way Thomas Tuchel likes to play. But in the counter-attacking team, again, in the Premier League, you must know you're not going to find spaces all the time. Lots of teams that defend deep. Bobby, you have anything to say to that? And I'll bring in LSC who just joined us. Okay, LSC, go ahead while we wait for Bobby. You have anything to say about this comment on the screen?
Let me see. This is what
I'm sorry, I'm back now.
Okay. Go ahead, then I'll bring in LSC when you're done. Sorry, LSC, just one moment, please, brother.
Sorry, what's this? You're asking about the comment on the screen?
Yeah.
This is worth what?
It is worth 5 million, and then the comment following.
Werner doesn't aim.
Werner doesn't aim because Werner cannot dribble without looking at his feet. This is something we all learned in youth league. Again, this is comical. It is funny, really, but it does make sense to a certain measure. You have anything to add to that? If not, I'll just move to.
It does. You know, Werner really is another thing that really saddens me because I love his attitude. I love his endeavor. But for where he's playing, what he's worth, and what he's achieved, you know, his output, he is one player that is very much at risk of being sold for a better alternative. You know, with another player we haven't mentioned, we've got Dybala out there. We've got Chiesa out there. You know, Chelsea, that's another one. You know, you're talking about Marquis. That's one for sure. You know, Chelsea have to go for these guys, and if we get any of these guys, sadly, Timo will be sold.
Yeah, I think you make a good argument there. So, LSE, you can come in for that comment.
Yeah, I think almost everyone has lost patience with Werner. You know, just like Bobby said, we do like his attitude, but the mess is just so, you know, unbearable at this point. And even despite the, you know, the loss of Chilwell and Rhys James for, you know, the amount of time we did this season, you know, the mess by the attackers is just so overwhelming. Like, can't believe this. And I see people on Twitter blaming this on Tuchel. This is just, oh my goodness, man. I don't know if it's their footballing knowledge, if they are just overreacting. You know, I can see the campaign against Tuchel already, you know, just because of what has happened this season. You know, so Werner is part of it. Yeah, at this point, like Tuchel said, it's going to be a rebuild. I think it's time for him to go. We need someone, you know, that has the eye for a goal. That was someone that can have just one chance, you know, mass 2 chances, at least bury one of them. You know, we saw the Pulisic miss the other day. You know, so I think the entire front line need, you know, surgical operation needs to happen there for us to move forward at this point. So I don't know what this person said. This is worth $5. I don't know, understand that, but
no, he just wants to make sure I read it. Unfortunately, I missed it. He just wants to make sure because it's a super chat. I will read it.
Yeah. I keep saying this, you know, like this whole, you know, this is something we all learn in youth league. Absolutely true. Anytime I see Werner on the ball, he's always looking down. Look up, Werner. Look up, Werner. You know, it's sad. It's sad to see because, you know, it was the hype for his coming and with Harvard as well. You know, it's time to be ruthless. It's time to be ruthless. It's not time to be sentimental at all. Because I don't like the way...
Bobby will take you to lunch the way you're talking right now. I can be sure of that. Go ahead.
You know, so it's not time to be sentimental, and we have to do what we have to do. So if Tuchel wants him gone, then he should go. Yeah,
I agree with you, but again, there's a chance he might want to keep him because we're seeing flashes of brilliance. And again, from the game against Southampton and Real Madrid subsequent games, he seemed to have rediscovered his form. I don't know really what happened when I traveled to Africa, but you guys watched the whole game, so I missed a few. But that's by the way. We'll see what happens. And LSD, I have to bring you up to part of things we're talking about. We've talked about quickly. But first, before we continue, I am urging everybody in the chat. This is Ty Talks CFC's YouTube channel. He has just 179 subscribers. And Ty, by the way, before you say, "Oh, Chelsea Perspective is a subscribe to your channel,"
you need to give me a heart
no, this is not my account. You see the
no,
logo
that's
there.
not why. You just brought up the screen, and then my heart nearly sank over there.
So again, this is my other business account, but I'm gonna subscribe with that one too to make it 180. So if you see the logo here, so it's not Chelsea Perspective. So if you haven't, please make sure to go subscribe to Ty Talks CFC. He's a kid, but he understands football very well, especially from Chelsea perspective. Subscribe to him. Check out his videos, especially this video that has 1,800 views 11 days ago. And it's just a 4-minute video where he talks about what is in the anti-Glazers clause in the Chelsea. Let me just play it like this. What's in the Chelsea cell, which is very, you have to go check it out. I think you will like it. That would tell you whether to continue following him and watching his content. But I think you should, if you ask me. He's a kid, but he understands football very well, especially from the perspective of Chelsea Football Club. Please check out his channel and be sure to subscribe to his channel. Let's support him. He goes about to every Chelsea content creators YouTube channel and gets on the panel and speaks facts whenever he gets the chance. So LSC, I'm going to try to bring you up to par with this to see maybe your suggestions, to see if your suggestion would align with that of anybody on the panel. Just 1 second, let me check something here, because as we move, we get our updates from some people in the chat on so that we can be updating our followers here. This comment tweet right here, which says those close to Chelsea takeover believe Todd Boehly wants to make 2 marquee signings and strengthen the squad significantly this summer, which is in line with Thomas Tuchel's vision. I know most importantly that's assuring, because we all want Thomas Tuchel to stay. But when you hear 2 marquee signings, what players come to mind for you?
We don't know what position you're talking about. Because as far as I'm concerned, we definitely need more than 2 marquee signings. Because we have.
Does any players come to mind?
You know, that's what I'm saying. It depends on what position it is. If it's at the defense, I don't consider Kunde to be marquee. I don't consider Gavido to be marquee. You know, even Koulibally, I don't consider them to be marquee signings. They are just regular good players. That's all. You know, so a marquee signing, to my understanding, is a player that is going to attract a lot of fan base. You know, the fan base that we don't have before. You know, and it usually costs a lot of money. You know, but I don't see any of these guys being marquee, except maybe in attack. You know, unless you're considering Ousmane Dembele to be marquee.
I don't think so, but go ahead.
That is coming on a free. You know, if that's even possible, because I don't think none of these rumors coming on right now that I believe. I don't believe any of them. I don't trust any of them. As far as I'm concerned, we are going to delay our transfer window until everyone is done with their business. All right. So Tuchel is going to be less frustrated once again, and the player that he asked for, no one is going to give it to him. That's forget about the new owners, because we still have Bruce Buck over there. We still have him there, so I don't see anything changing soon.
Yeah. Again, I'm going to just breeze through the chat because this is an interactive show, so we don't miss anybody's input. Can people realize that Tchouameni was signed the season the French league closed down early? The second was his full season. Stop putting too much into paper talk. Cesc now telling him, maybe that's not complete, I'm not sure. Again, anything to address here, True Blue? What's your point again? Yeah, because that isn't complete statement. Thank you very much for reiterating that. I tell that Barcelona when they bought Dembele, it's football. Anything can happen. That's the truth. You cannot script this game even outside the pitch. You cannot. Money talks. Spot on. Backup Edson Alvarez, a good choice, but likely follow Ten Hag to United again. Ten Hag going to United again creates a lot of problems for us. Gavro said, smash that like button. Big up DJ Saab. Some love for you, DJ. Some love. And I'm happy mine came before yours. Again, I appreciate that love.
Can I just say something?
If you want to say something, yeah.
Yeah, Gav Hodes, in fact, I know who he is. He's a really, really good mate of mine. I used to work with him a long time ago with a company, and he's a massive Chelsea fan, and his knowledge on Chelsea is absolutely second to none. So if he does come into your comment section, he knows things inside as well. He gets information as well. So he's a very, very good guy and a good mate of mine as well. So I've known him for some time now. Yeah, his whole family are lovely as well. So, but him generally, he's a really, really nice guy. So if he does come in your comments, let him.
Nice to see you here. Nice to see you here, Gav. We love nice people. We love nice people. It is love democracy here, and everybody contributes. Nobody here is perfect. We have discussions, debates, and then try to come to a sensible conclusion. So nice to see you. Hopefully, with time, you'd want to come onto the panel. I'll follow you on Twitter and send you the link whenever you have time. You're welcome to join us here, brother. And again, thanks for the love for DJ. DJ has become a brother over time, and I appreciate that. Again, it says Werner is not a lead striker. It's not. He plays alongside other strikers. That's when he thrives, like he did at Leipzig. So we must recognize that. Dybala very injury prone, and Chiesa after a very bad injury cannot remember which, but he's out a good while, and there's no telling whether he'll come back the same. And we've risked that before with some players, and it did not pan out well for us. So I don't want to big up Gab. Again, DJ returns the love. Dybala, best at total 19 in 5 years ago, cannot score. Italy won't score in EPL. That's, again, another good argument. 21 more likes. Yes, 21 more likes for us to reach 100 likes. We can do that, people. So if you haven't, please do like the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. We still have 66 people watching, so we can get it to 100 likes at least. Oh, man, I extended the timeout. I'm sorry. You just lost your job, just be all, but that's by the way. And I hope Hodge will understand. And DJ, please extend our apologies to him. Just be all says here, it was a mistake.
No worries.
I hope
he's good.
Yeah, I get what it says. Man United really think they can bag Rafinha. That's a chance. Because they can start talking with the player right now. And I don't think we're allowed to talk to players right now. Correct me if I'm wrong. Hismo, we wouldn't even get Koulibally. Watch, he's going to Barca. That is if he's living on a free. We seem to forget Barca is actually still in financial distress at this point. People seem to forget that. And what reminded me that was just a tweet that I'll share soon that DJ Saab shared with me. So credit to DJ Saab. Muscle is not guaranteed. Again, sorry, I think he understands. He's a gentleman. And like DJ have said, he is a nice guy. And nice guys understand things quickly. Again, which comment is incomplete? The first, the one I don't remember, but I think Liam can help educate you on which of the comments we think is not complete. And it says, what does it say there? Interested. Okay. Good is the Premier League is a physical league. If you are light and built like Twig, you will suffer. Again, that's a hilarious way to put it. So let's go to the what DJ Sav shared with us. And I think Bobby will love this. So, Bobby, let's start with you. Chelsea handed a major Robert Lewandowski transfer boost as Barcelona easy reality emerges. I'm not sure. I really don't want to open this link, but I'm guessing the issue they're referring to is Barcelona's financial situation at this point.
100%.
Sorry?
That is 100%. That source is really trustable, but if you go to the other one, to another one, you'll see being explained in full and saying that that Javi himself has said that at the very moment they can't afford him because of more financial issues. But yeah, that is true.
And I'm getting you. There's no doubt his salary demands will be very too high for them.
Yes.
So Chelsea may well get their man, and I think we will talk about him right now. The chances of Chelsea getting him, but I think I will add him to one of the list of people we'll talk about tomorrow. So Bobby, you come in. I know this makes you happy. Tell us what you think about this tweet from Lena Hammer, by the way.
Yeah, I know Lynn quite well. Look, it's not
Is
about
it
being
do you,
happy.
DJ and Bobby? Is it his a trusted source?
Well,
Yeah,
he has some
yeah.
good things, some I don't know, but he's a very, he's a strong Chelsea guy, and he's a good guy. But listen, it's not about whether I like it or not. I did say earlier that all these people linking with, any player out there, there's something we do. We just throw them to Real Madrid and Barcelona as if they're going to be interested, they're going to be able to afford them, and they're going to put them in on their books. Sometimes they take that bait and end up having no manner of Galacticos in their stands, not to mention on the bench, and situations like we've got with Eden Hazard. I know they can't afford Lewandowski. I mean, they're having problems. One of the problems they have with Dembele is in and around money. They had problems registering players not too long ago. They have players that they're still trying to offload to clear their books to bring in new players. Why Christensen is going there is interesting, and I'm not even convinced they can afford Aspie, to be honest, unless unless he's really going to go there and play for peanuts. They have, money is real. It's an issue with them. Yes, they're on the way back. Yes, they have a budget for certain marquee players, but they can't afford it. So all this talk of Koulibally and forget it. It's not happening.
Yeah. Again, good argument there. And this here says West Paris says we're not sure yet. There are rumors that Inter they're offering him new contract, but he hasn't signed yet. If he comes to Chelsea, I'd love it. Hi, says Susie. Name Susie, and nice to see you here. If you haven't, please be sure to like the video, and everyone else that's watching, please do like the video. We're shooting for 100 likes, and we're just 16 likes away to get to 100 likes. And also we have 1,478. So we've gained a few, some good number of subscribers today. But we can gain more. If you haven't, like the video and also subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Susie names, I'm not sure what it's talking about here. Maybe speaking German or so. True, Liam says, True Blue, I was wondering what you mean about sex saying something about Chouameni. Yep, again, please educate us. Goodies, I get your point, but playing for a manager that knows you is a factor. Manchester's still a big city. Also, one season out of the Champions League will be an issue, if you ask me also. And I think Hakim Ziyech may well go to Manchester United, given that they have Erik ten Hag, and also he gets a chance to play with Van der Beek again. And the manager that he had his best season under is Ten Hag. I think that may well happen, and I don't think Hakim Ziyech will also trust Thomas Tuchel to give him enough game time. That is for sure. If you're paying attention on the way he's been treated, especially of recent when he picked out form. Again, please, I'm pleading with you. If you haven't, be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. My understanding, Coach, is that we can talk to players, but just cannot agree a deal. So if that's the case, I think it makes sense to me right now. We may well be able to talk to the players and ask them to be patient. The moment the ownership conundrum thing is over, we'll be able to complete, sign a deal and sign them if they really want to come to us, because it's important. Does the player himself want to come to us? Koulibally can replace Rudiger. We'll get to that in a bit. Just let's finish the talk about also the possibility of us signing Robert Lewandowski. As Liam Sesk has recommended to Chouameni not to sign for us. Really? In Manchester United instead. Wow, that's surprising. The rumors I had the last time was that Sesk was telling Chelsea to go get Chouameni. again, the player must be thinking, okay, which club will be better for me? But we'll see what happens. Well, I didn't know that. I didn't either. So that's why I was surprised that Koulibally, Gafdiol, I think I like Koulibally, and I don't think I know the other player you mentioned in there. Again, nothing else to address here. So, Bobby, I know you've talked about the possibility of us signing Robert Lewandowski. How about you, Ty? Can you take a minute and talk about it?
About who?
No, I think Bobby. I'm talking to Ty, if you don't mind.
Oh, sorry. I thought you.
No worries. Ty, go ahead.
I'm sorry. What did you say? Talk about what?
The possibility of us signing Lewandowski, given what you see on the screen.
I mean, it could go back to talking about marquee signings. I mean, Lewandowski is Polish, if I'm not mistaken, and I mean, he's
Polish, yeah. He's Polish.
He's getting closer to his final years probably as a footballer, and I mean, you know, players like Lewandowski, he can offer a lot to teams. I mean, I can remember and obviously watching the Euros last year. I mean, how impactful he was for Poland. I mean, it highlights something of what this team could use. Somebody who has that leadership skill in the attack. Somebody who is able to create not only for himself but can also create for his teammates, create for the other attackers he's playing with. And I mean, I don't remember who was talking about it, but having that mentor for Broha, because Broha has this identity that is very impressive for a 20-year-old. I think he's 20 now. And I mean, having somebody like a Lewandowski who is that impactful for both teams he plays for at the very moment, it could be very influential for a player like Broha. Obviously, it remains to be seen what happens with him in the preseason. But I mean, getting a Lewandowski, if possible, could be impactful for certain attackers. Players who I'm pretty sure a lot of young players know who Lewandowski is, know about the identity that Bayern have, the ruthlessness that they've had. But the question is, he has complained about Julian Nagelsmann's system since he's become the Bayern manager. So the question is, how would he react under another German manager who, despite being probably not at the same level as Hansi Flick, who you could arguably said created madness at Bayern Munich? How would he react? What would he do? Would he be open to it? Because I think Tuchel wouldn't really facilitate Lewandowski, allow him to make those type of things that he loves to do as a player. Would it be something that he'll be open to? Would he accept the fact that Tuchel likes his strikers to be doing certain things, coming deep and trying to do things? Obviously, Lewandowski loves to work, he loves to do it, and he's good early. But the thing is, would he be able to accept the fact that Tuchel doesn't really offer his strikers the freedom to do things that they want to do? And I mean, we're seeing that right now with certain strikers that we have. He gets frustrated if they're doing things that he doesn't want. But at the end of the day, it's key to note that Lewandowski is a good player. He would come in and be an impact, possibly, to Broha and your younger strikers. Obviously, you have Jules who is also in the youth system. But what would be the plan for him? Because I mean, he's complaining about the new system that he is being infiltrated at Bayern Munich. So how would he go about coming into the Premier League, working with a manager who is quite similar in demanding the same thing from his strikers like Nagelsmann? That is the interesting thing for me.
Quite some should I say highlight or insight there, because I had no idea he complained about the system, and which is the same situation. You could argue, some argue it's the case with Romelu Lukaku, something otherwise. But I'm going to ask DJ a different question when I come to him. Let me just go to LSC right now, but I'm going to try to catch up with the comments in the chat. And Liam, thank you very much for educating me on that. I didn't know we can talk to player but cannot sign an agreement. And thank you. And I think maybe Stav had already told me that before when he was still coming into the panel. So, but thank you very much again. I like that when that happens. Liam says is setting up his career for failure. Well, he's already done already. So I wouldn't even go to that area. My mistake, Liverpool or Bayern or Germany again. Thank you for that link you provided. I think will be a future signing. Okay, possibly. I don't know what this Triggerverse is talking about. Can you educate us more? The Added Time podcast. Big up to Titus and everyone on the panel. And nice to see you here, brother. And if you haven't, please do subscribe to the channel and also like the video. We are just a few likes away, just 13 likes to reach 100 likes, and I know we can achieve that before the end of the show. Messi, Golazo, it looks like he's watching a game. And just Viola, the Queen of the House, thank you very much for the good work you're doing by, blocking those scams coming here with some nonsense there. Okay, True Blue, I follow football at London since Sons of Chelsea went there. Oh, the Sons of Chelsea, is he part of the team now? Okay, good to hear. Again, I say if Liverpool get Chameni, I will believe it. But
Is he muted?
Can you guys hear me, or is it just
I can hear you, bro. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I was wondering because I heard the sound just kick out.
I think he's muted. Or something's happened. Bobby, you still there, bro?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah, I can hear you as well, man. I don't know. I think it's just Chelsea perspective. Coachella then.
It's a coach.
Maybe his headset has lost audio.
It looks like he's trying to do something.
Yeah, sorry guys, my microphone went off and I didn't know. Sorry, apologies. Again, I've plugged it in. I think it will be fine now. And nice to see you here. The Added Time podcast. Was it Ty that invited you? Welcome, feel at home.
I think I'm not sure. I think he knows about you, but I mean, I've spoken about you in the past, so maybe.
Okay, please, you're part of the family now. And again, we have 93 likes, just 7 likes away to get to 100 likes. I know we can get that and beyond. And my apologies if I were just clicking through and you guys weren't hearing what I'm saying. He says, True Blue, I follow. Okay, True Blue, I follow Football London scenes. Sons of Chelsea went there. I didn't know Sons of Chelsea joined them. I like to watch his videos too. If Liverpool get Chameni, I will believe it, but this might be a blessing in disguise. And tell us what you mean by that. Big up Added Time podcast. I know everybody here is saying welcome to you. Make that go from time to Lukaku. Okay, good one. If Alonso leaves, we can replace him with Perisic again at Inter Milan or Spinazzola at Roma. Both are good wing backs. Again, good shout there. And yes, sir, bless you all and thank you for welcoming me. You're very welcome. And hopefully I will connect on Twitter so I can send you the link. And whenever you get a chance, you hop on to the panel. And let's see, I said I was going to come to you before I go to DJ. Your thoughts on the possibility of us signing Robert Lewandowski, and given the tweet on the screen.
Yeah. If it's true and if it comes to pass, and it's not just rumors, as usual, I think it will be a good signing. And contrary to what others were saying about him not fitting into Tuchel's system, I think with the rebuild, Tuchel like to work with the players that he has. He look at their characteristics. And when he saw that the Thierry at the back, he saw the way we were leaking goals. And Thierry at the back was very effective in shutting that down. So that was why he continued. There was no need for him to change. So with a rebuild and with the kind of players that might come in, so it might be a different kind of Chelsea. We might go back to far the back, or we might interchange. You never know. So the important thing is we have players that don't miss a lot of chances, players that are technical, players that can, one on one, not players that look stale and start passing back and sideways and all of that, So stiffening our attack, you see Tuchel getting mad. So it's just the kind of players that he has. Just imagine, it's not you're not going to blame Pulisic miss the other day on Tuchel. There's no way you're going to do that, you know, because if that ball went in, then we would be 73 points by now, So it's same story throughout the season, same story. So we just need good personnel. The system is not a problem; it's just the personnel within the system. So I believe that with a player like Lewandowski, he wants to prove himself in the Premier League if he likes to come to the Premier League, because this, at this point in time, is still mere speculations. If he really
Yeah.
wants to come to the Premier League, I believe it will make an impact, and it will help other players around him as well. It will make players around him better. So as far as this going through, I'm just going to keep my fingers crossed. But I really do want to see him at Chelsea.
Just quickly, before I ask DJ, I want to ask him, Bobby, do you think it's the personnel that's the issue and not the system?
I think it's the personnel. People talk a lot about systems. There's this fantasy about 4 at the back. It's meaningless. Chelsea have played 3 at the back and have missed a hatful of chances. If we converted our chances, nobody would be talking about 3 at the back, and we'll probably be one of the highest goal scorers in the league. I revert back to what Graham Souness said on Sky. If Cristiano Ronaldo was playing for Chelsea, he would score 50 goals this season. So it's not about that. We have a personnel issue. Ty pointed out very, very correctly the mentality issue. So this is an opportunity. With every disappointment comes an opportunity. So this is an opportunity to build a whole new team. And that's why I say this summer's transfer market is very crucial to the way forward with Chelsea. However, having said all of this, what gives me greatest concern is that if next week the government don't allow us to just continue, it will be a major, major problem. I think that's about the last sort of proper week of May before we start talking of the 31st. So they've got to let this club go and get on with what it needs to do, get its license for the new season, and then we address the transfer market, and then we'll really know what we've got to play with. It may not be so much of a financial outlay because some players can fetch some money back from being sold, and some will relieve the wage bill. So, we've got to rebuild because right now our personnel is definitely not right. The squad depth is not right. If you watch games like even against Liverpool in the FA Cup final, they were bringing on people like Firmino, Diego Jota. Against Real Madrid, they were bringing on Marcelo, Rafinha. Quality for quality. Chelsea change and you get an injured Kante, who is definitely quality, but then you're bringing on the likes of Saul Niguez at the Bernabeu, and we just have a lesser bench. That's why we suffered so much when Reece James was injured and the long-term injury to Chilwell, and we need strikers that can score. Just as the former caller said, ruthlessness has got to be the name of the game this summer. We've got to be ruthless.
No sentiment.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's gone out the window.
No
Real
sentiments.
Madrid,
We have to get the
Madrid
manager.
attitude.
What works for him. Go ahead, Ty.
Real Madrid attitude. I mean, some people complain about how harsh Real Madrid fans are, but I would set my expectations up to their level. Yes, sometimes people say that, oh, it's brutal, some players are still young, but yes, you can't be doing that. And as a team, you want to progress. You can't be be saying that, oh, he's young. In 4 years, he'll be doing better. If he can't do it, then you try to find the best solution. Obviously, long term is key and time is the master, but you need to have the frame of mind that you can't be accepting mediocrity at your club, especially when you know what quality players can offer. So, I mean, people say that, oh, give him time. Yes, you'll give him time, but we're trying to progress. And if a player is not progressing at the same pace that we want to, we can't be waiting for them because then that's going to be setting us back in what we're trying to achieve. And I mean, we haven't won the league in it's going to be six years now. So basically that isn't good. And I mean we need to go back to the level of what we can expect. But obviously it's going to take time, and patience is what is key. But I think like Rudiger was saying, the sacking of managers, it has to be probably cut down a bit, especially when you come across against managers like the caliber of Tuchel, who has proven that even without having a say in the players that come in, having zero of his signings coming in, you have to be impressed with what he's doing, especially with a depleted squad with mentality issues. So when he gets his own players, then you can fully judge him because then he brought those players in. He wanted them in as the personnel to take the club to the next level. So then you can, assess him properly and question what he's been doing if it's necessary.
Yeah, again, I think that's a brilliant comment against regarding hiring and firing managers. I'm actually writing an article, and I hope to release it soon. Maybe I might someone else might join me as one of the authors. What I emphasized on. What I emphasized on mainly on the article is how why Chelsea hasn't at any time had a sustained success or had a long period of time where they dominated the Premier League and Europe. The reason being the way we sack managers. Even we have sacked some of our most successful managers unjustly, even those that's proven that they are good enough to help us dominate the Premier League for a while. But that's, by the way, I'm not going to give it away, but soon the article will be on Chelsea Perspectives blog. And if you haven't, please be sure to go check out our blog. So let me quickly catch up with the chat, and I'll come back with DJ Sal with the question I have for him. Then we'll switch to the last topic in roundup because we've been streaming for 3 hours plus right now. And I appreciate everybody that's been part of the discussion. It's been an awesome discussion, and I like the respect between everybody on the panel and in the chat. You present your opinion, and the other person doesn't like the opinion, they counter your opinion, and that's just the way it should be. This is just the Added Time podcast saying thank you to everybody welcoming him. True Blue, yes, it's excellent. And here, True Blue say again, no team with our system has won or is leading the league. Again, that's another argument. A big up, Coach. Big up to you, brother. Go check out the Z-Volley's new channel. Great content. And always putting out some great content there. He follows the trend, but always good reaction videos. And again, one of the fastest growing up and coming channels. Make sure to go check out his content. The Added Time podcast says, does the deadline day of the sale worry anyone? Considering any day after that will likely force Chelsea to go under administration. Think it is the 1st of June where administration can happen. Again, I think I've heard something, or maybe let me say learned, that after that, the government would have to issue another license. I don't think the club will go into administration. But Bobby, do you have anything to say to this comment on the screen? Bobby, are you still there?
Sorry, I'm struggling with my...
To unmute. Yeah, I know. It happens when you use your phone.
Yeah. Yes. Does the deadline day of the sale worry anyone, considering any day that will likely force Chelsea to go? Of course, it's always a worry until it's done. It's a concern. As far as I know, the fit and proper persons check has been okayed by the Premier League. I think everything is now in the hands of the government. And as far as I know, it's clear that the money won't be going to Roman Abramovich. As far as I know, I don't know if anybody knows more, they can add to it. But the government just need to let this club get on with what it does. If you destroy Chelsea, you will be destroying the Premier League and probably one of the best sporting products in the world.
In the UK. Mm-hmm.
Not just in the UK, but in the world.
The brand is a global brand, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you would have eliminated one of its most precious gems. It's a ridiculous move. It makes no sense whatsoever. And I just hope sometime, early next week, sanity will come into this situation.
Yeah, here's what I thought would happen. And this is the exact thing that my friend Stav told me. The government will issue another license. And I think there's enough money to keep running the club so that wouldn't happen. I think that's the case. But I think the whole process will be completed before time. Because, again, why did I say that? What gave me the confidence that it would completed before time was the tweet by Trivago. It was a giveaway. Probably somebody who's, a keyboard happy. I'm not going to say trigger happy. Keyboard happy. Put out something when they shouldn't have. Because that's a complete giveaway saying, Todd Boehly, welcome to Chelsea Football Club family or something like that. Here we go. That was a giveaway. And again, I don't think that will happen. And if there's any chance, here's the solution. Added podcast, the government would just issue another license. But that's, by the way, let me quickly catch up and then I'll come to DJ so that we can quickly switch to the next topic and round off as soon as possible. I know people must be tired. Potential last match for Aspie, possibly. Good is yes, I made the UEFA Champions League as a reason for choosing us. United can pay some wages. Again, True Blue, thank God. Thought there was no chance of that. Still, why this process took so long is crazy. I don't know either. It's concerning. It's become a conundrum, if you like. What was supposed to be done at the end of April to May? Trust the process. That's just all we can do is just trust the process. Yeah, but 2 more likes, and I think we should be there now. Just 1 more like to reach 100 likes. And if you haven't, please also be sure to subscribe to the channel. Thank you for saying that, Tobago. True View, of course. But we had qualified. Again, this is a conversation between 2 people. Some of our legends is fine or happy with Villas-Boas and his system. Same as Grant. Nobody questioned their mentality. Again, that's another argument. Coachila, you sound like you miss Staff too much. Yes, he's my friend. I loved him. We had a disagreement. And I think I told him I did apologize publicly, but he's decided to stay away for a while. Again, we had a disagreement, but I put that behind me. Chelsea should be all over Dybala. He's a free agent. Get the deal done. He is better than all of our strikers. Sir Werner, Pulisic, Alonso, Bakayoko, Emerson, and Barkley, and sell Chelsea FC too. Maybe, but I'm just kidding. Again, lots of players will leave. Some on the free, like a drink water. But that's by the way. So DJ, I'm going to come back to you. Let's round up the Robert Lewandowski talk, and then before we move to the next topic, do you think he will work in the Premier League? Because some will argue that the players he's played with just put it on a plate for him, and that's in most cases.
Yeah.
But I'd argue otherwise. But do you think he will work for us if we eventually sign him?
I think he will work. I mean, listen, he's a world-class player, even at the age of 33. The guy knows where the back of the net is, and I don't think coming to the Premiership is going to be any difficult, even at the age of 33. Look, in the past, we've signed the likes of Gianluca Vialli. We've signed the likes of Gianfranco Zola, Casaraghi. I can go on and on and on. Obviously, Casaraghi had that bad injury, all right? But these guys came in and they started scoring goals for Chelsea. It maybe took them a bit of time, but they came in and scored. Okay, people will say Zola came to Chelsea at the age of 29. Gianluca Vialli did come to us at the age of 30, 31, but he still scored goals for us. I mean, I talk about another guy called Fabrizio Ravanelli, who went to Middlesbrough, another guy, the White Feather they used to call him. Yeah, he was another guy who used to bang in goals for Middlesbrough when he came to the Prem. So yes, I think Lewandowski will work at Chelsea. I think we do have the players around us to set him up those balls and score the goals. Maybe the players at this moment in time don't have the confidence in Lukaku, and that's probably why they're thinking he's not going to finish. But whereas with a guy like Lewandowski, you've got players like Kai Havertz, you've got players like Pulisic on his day, Werner to some degree on his day if he really looks up and he starts passing the ball on time. Callum Hudson-Odoi, another. These guys can pass, and if you pass the right pass to this guy, yeah, he'll finish. He'll finish off his dinner, 100%. So I for one hope we can get him in. As I said, I don't think age really bothers. It matters to me. I just think this guy knows where the back of the net is, and he'll come in and I think he'll take the take the Premiership by light for me, 100%. He'll take the Prem by storm, and I think if we can get this guy in, I wouldn't complain. And then you've got the likes of Brozier, who could possibly come back from loan, learn from him, learn how he makes his movements, how to score the goals. Maybe may even see improvement in Lukaku if he stays at Chelsea. So look, I've got the options there. I think this guy is just, for me, is a statement signing, and I think we bring him in. I, for one, and I think a lot of other Chelsea fans out there will not complain, because if we think about it, Coach, here, last season when we were looking at strikers, Lukaku's name, Tuchel looked at 3 strikers. Okay, there were Haaland, Kane, and Lewandowski. Okay, they were the 3 that he wanted, but Lukaku, I do believe, was the one that was recommended by the club, because he was the one out there to go and get at the time. So look, for me, he's a no-brainer if we can bring him in, Lewandowski. But the thing is, if it's rumours, then obviously, we'll know in time if it's rumours or not. But I think the most important factor is, let's get this takeover completed. I do believe that's the most important factor. Get Thomas Tuchel his new contract, and then let him decide on the players he wants. And if Lewandowski is one of them that he wants, I would not say no to him. 100%, I won't say no to him.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I wouldn't say no to him either. I think he suits more the way Thomas Tuchel plays. And again, I want to take this opportunity to catch up with the chat. We'll round off in a few minutes, and I'm going to get your opinion on what I'm going to get LSC's in 1 minute. What his opinion on what DJ just said. And here, the Added Time podcast says, as long as he doesn't cost an arm and a leg, and the leg and his salary also, I agree with you. Why not? Let him be the leader and mentor for young attack. That makes perfect sense, which was the reason, one of the reasons why we got Lukaku was his experience and age. But it turns out, again, at this point, it is still a mistake, except if things change. But we'll see. Let's push to more likes, people. Road to 150 likes. I think we can do that. Thank you very much, Tobago. I know you would have been on the panel, but probably busy, and I appreciate your inputs there. Again, it says just Viola and Lewandowski going to Barcelona. Again, you saw what we shared on the screen. That's a chance they might not be able to afford him, given this salary. And also, Barcelona hasn't gotten out of the financial stress that they've been on since COVID yet. So we must consider that. Kim, so if you're watching, apologies to you. One of the moderators accidentally timed you out as they're trying to time out somebody who was spamming the show. Apologies to you if you can hear me. It wasn't done intentionally, and you can see. So sorry, Kim, so accidental timeout. Please, you will be back again. Lebov commending Boehly, Sells, Werner, and Pulisic again, trying to remove, again, explaining what happened. Good afternoon, Nick. I hope you've calmed down at this point. We all know you're not racist, but we'll talk about that later. Sal, Pulisic, and Bice and Maxima, like I said before, I really do not want that to happen. So Maxima looks like he'll be 30 and still be playing like a raw talent. His final decision making is a concern to me. Again, if you haven't, please do like the video. We've reached 100 likes, but we can still get more, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Big up Nick Blue. Thank you for saying that. So sorry. It's okay, Ty. I'm sorry he's seen this. He understands it was a mistake. He will be back in a bit. Again, I'm going to come back to the panel. Just take a minute, LSC, and tell us if you think Lewandowski will work in the Premier League.
Wow. Well, I hope he works. And I'm praying it doesn't fall victim to the other big name strikers that we brought to Chelsea in the past. So because there seems to be a similar pattern. They are usually at the end of their careers when they come around. Apart from the one that DJ Star mentioned earlier on, that really worked well. But under Roman, it's been a different story so far. So I hope and I pray that it works. If we can make a sign happen, and the tendency to improve other younger strikers will be immense as well. So in terms of having an eye for goal and the movement, and being flexible,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I think it can work. I think it can work, but I'm not gonna keep my hopes high at all. I'm not going to. The marker will be if everything goes through by next week. All right, that will be the marker. If everything goes through, then that's
Mm-hmm.
fine because this season is already ruined. I hope the government has no intention of ruining our next season because if this delay happen and if we do apply for another license,
Mm-hmm.
then that means your sanctity just becomes aggravated, and a lot of
Yeah.
players, even the ones at the club at this moment, will not start thinking otherwise. So next
Mm-hmm.
week is going to be very critical because, as far as I'm concerned, I don't see where the order is right now. So yeah, let's take it from there. I just want Chelsea fans to keep their expectations very, very low
Yeah.
because as long as we still have Bruce Bock over there, I don't mind Marina, in terms of negotiation, fine, at least for a transition period. But Bruce Bock being there, and with what Rudiger said about them not having any conversation with him regarding the contract since January,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that was really sad. That was an own goal. That was a big own goal on the part of Chelsea. We understand they didn't anticipate what's going to happen with Russia and co. But come on, that was not fair at all, and it wasn't fair on Tuchel. They know Tuchel needs this guy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's like he's 5-star general in the team, and now he's going there with all the shithousery to Real Madrid. It's really really sad. It's sad.
Yeah.
So I have
Yeah. Just
no I have no trust in them at all in
mm-hmm.
securing Lewandowski.
Yeah. Totally understand why. Bobby, quickly, just take a minute to tell us what you think. Lewy will work at Chelsea or in the Premier League overall. If it comes to that, we can just talk about the last take 10 minutes or so, talk about the last topic in roundup because we'll be streaming for a while.
Yeah, I'll try and be quick. I mean, I have some concerns. I don't agree with the previous speaker about Marina.
Mm-hmm.
As I've said, we're in this world where people are afraid to go against the grain as to what is fashionable.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. I'm not one of those people. She is very responsible for the situation with Rudiger. It's got nothing to do with Bruce Buck. Bruce Buck has other issues, and I don't think either of them should remain at the club. If she's at the club, then it's just for handover, if you ask me. But I don't want her involved in negotiations. She is terrible at negotiations. She wastes time because she does not know what to do. And why our fan base are so terrified to come and call it out for what it is remains a mystery to me. If it's because she's a woman, well, get another woman. But this woman is not good at what she does, period. She messed up with Rudiger and several other deals before that. Now, as far as Lewandowski is concerned, I have concerns. He's 34, 33, going on 34 years old. He'll be 34 when he's with us. And I still remember Shevchenko. There comes that tipping point with the legs of a player that I've noticed that it happens around that kind of 33, 34. After that, it's gone. They lose a certain amount of pace. Now, this is the Premier League. You are studied by managers. There's a lot of pace in this league. I have concerns. 2-3 matches into the season, he'll be sussed out, and because of a lack of pace and lack of that youthful sharpness, he will then become another waste. We should stop buying alternatives. Stop scraping off the table after everybody else has eaten, as it were. The whole way Haaland was handled is another debacle, a complete disaster. We went for a panic buy in Lukaku. Yet again, our friend Marina. Why? Where I don't blame her is that she had no director of football to advise her correctly, just threw money in the wrong direction, at the wrong time, last minute. We ended up with a striker that's going to be a very, very difficult person to offload. My solution, go for Darwin Núñez, go for Nkunku, people like that, and bring back Broja. Now, if Lewandowski is ready to come and be a squad player, absolutely fine. But if he's going to come to Chelsea and expecting to be a number one striker, I think he'll end up finding himself embarrassed, just like Shevchenko did. The difference between people like Zola and Kasaragi and indeed Vialli was they came before they were 33. I think Zola came late 20s, early 30s, something like that. Kasaragi about 31. They had reached the twilight years, but they still had just about enough to give us something special. 33 gives me concerns. It's not like a centre-back like Thiago Silva, where you don't have to run around so much. And even then, he's been found out sometimes by the pace. This is a position where you are full throttle in the Premier League. That's another problem I have with Perisic. Playing as wing-back at 33, really? Look at how Aspi has suffered. I don't think it's a good idea.
In the case of Perisic, I think because he can play in the left midfield position, Tuchel may well use him there, and it's a press resistance as much. That's good, and it's good with both feet.
If that's the case, then that's good, and that might be the answer to your central midfield kind of creator
goals contribution. Yeah, that's why I am for Perisic. Really, it's not because running up and down at that age. That's not, no, I am for him because he can play in the left midfield position. But that's why, by the way, DJ, I don't know if I've asked you quickly so that we can try and cover the next topic and round off. Do you think Lewandowski will work in the Premier League? And before you go, I hear from DJ Service that it will be for 1 year, Bobby, with Marina until the takeover. She will be there. Beyond that, I don't think so. The same with Bruce Buck. I think she'd like to leave too because Roman would want her assign her to other places because she's always been her trusted confidant. But that's, by the way, again, I get your point here. I think she's just going to be there for the transition period. So, DJ, quickly, did I ask you, do you think Lewy will work in the Premier League? I think we lost a DJ, but that's, by the way. Let's just get on to the next topic. The next topic we have to talk about letters. Marina Granovskaya has told the Chelsea prospective new owners that she is willing to stay on to run the club's operations during this summer transfer window. Just for transition's sake, if you ask me, can you guys still hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay.
I don't know everybody else.
Okay, so so there are talks that Chelsea Football Club wants to sign Kalidou Koulibally. Something is wrong with my screen, but I hope it starts working properly again. Kalidou Koulibally. And there are talks also that the club wants to sign Jules Kunde. That one we're hearing is almost at the point of completion. The question I want to ask, these two players, I don't think any of them, you say a good replacement for Antonio Rudiger, not at all. For instance, Jules Kunde, he plays on the right-hand side, don't he?
Yes, so that itself contradicts itself. He could not because Rudiger is was on the left. So
and Rudiger playing
Aspi really.
Exactly, and Rudiger executing that role very well. It's actually a miracle because he's right-footed primarily, although he can use both feet. So now, it's on, even Koulibally, doesn't he play in a back four system? Correct me if I'm wrong.
He does, but he can also play as a 3 as well, Coachila.
On the left-hand side or on the right-hand side? That's the question.
On the left-hand side.
Okay, even at that, do you think, but that's not his specialty if you ask me, do you think both players, any of them is you could say maybe like for like, or even a near like for like, replacement for Antonio Rudiger?
Whether he's a replacement for Antonio Rudiger, Koulibally, I don't think. Well, he can be. He can be at least whatever years we get him in for. But I'm not sure if he'll be the long-term replacement. I do believe the kid from Leipzig is the one we're looking at, and I do believe Thomas Tuchel apparently met with his father. Apparently, that was talked about a couple of days ago.
You mean Yavadol?
Yes, apologies.
Yeah,
Bobby did share.
Yeah,
Bobby did share a
Cavadol.
tweet with me. Go ahead.
Oh yeah,
But my
yeah.
screen is give. Yeah, go ahead.
Apparently, his father was in the UK and having talks with Thomas Tuchel about him, and I think Leipzig are willing to sell him for 50 million. I think that's what I heard a couple of days ago. How true it is, I don't know.
Yeah, and that's the kid's natural position is to play on the left-hand side of a three.
Yeah, he's the one who could come in for Rudiger as a proper replacement for Rudiger. The other boy I'm talking about is the Brazilian kid at Torino. I think he's been mentioned as well as a replacement for Rudiger as well. I forgot his name. Maybe someone might know. The guy he plays as a Brazilian left. He plays in Rudiger's position. He's a Brazilian international, and he plays
Where?
for Torino. Torino.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about. I can't remember his name.
Yeah, he's the
Oh.
kid. He's also been linked. I think he's 25 years old.
Yeah. 24, 25.
Yeah, that's the other guy who's been mentioned as well.
Yeah, because the truth remains, I don't think either Koulibally or what's his name, Kunde, each of them, neither of them, you could argue, wouldn't be a good replacement for Antonio Rudiger in terms of character. Maybe Kunde close because he's aggressive.
Yeah,
but,
that's it. Bremer.
Bremer,
yeah.
That's the boy.
Yeah, so again, I think we'll see what happens. Bobby, your thoughts on those two players? Do you think any of them will be a good replacement for Kunde? For what's his name, Antonio Rudiger?
It's not so much a replacement for Rudiger because definitely, Rudiger is very unique and the defense will alter. We need people with that same sort of fire. For me, Jules Kunde is a must because he's a backup to Reece James. He can play in the center at the back.
I think we'll probably be getting him for the center back. That is a CB position.
Yeah, CB, and he will play right wing back for sure as well on occasion. So he's definite. For me, I would like to see Joska or Maximilian from Wolves. I have a feeling that we will go for Koulibally as well, but Koulibally is not a long-term fix as Joska or Maximilian will be, because they're in their early 20s. Koulibaly's an older player. If anything, I think Koulibally is coming in as a backup to Thiago Silva.
Because that's a position he executes very well, is to lead the back line and not be on the left or on the right.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
That's what's going to happen. He will be a backup to Thiago, and then we've got to get Joska. There are many players we need to get into that back line, and thankfully, I think Thomas Tuchel will actually have a pre-season with a lot of these guys. I don't think we've got this silly European Nations Cup nonsense to play. I think we might do, I don't know. But if we don't have internationals because of the World Cup being in December, we will get a pre-season. And that's where he'll have the opportunity to start to mold his team, because there's going to be a lot of new faces for sure.
So the preseason this time will be very, very important.
Oh, for sure. But Koulibally, Joska, and Jules Kunde a must. And remember, we'll still have Chalobah, and I think this may be the time to bring back Caldwell, because he's young, he's a Chelsea academy boy, and he will learn. And I always have faith in the academy boys because they know the culture, they will die for the club, and I think it's time to bring him home. There's a lot of our youngsters that.
Do you think he would want to come back if we sign Jules Kunde and we sign Koulibally and we still have Thiago Silva, we still have Trevor Chalobah? That's 4 people that are capable of playing in either of the, spots in the back, whether 4 or 3 at the back. Do you think Caldwell would want to come back?
Why not? Why not? Those days of, play me every match is gone. You're a fool if you're a player that thinks you're going to play every match for a club like Chelsea. You know, look at all the games we play. Not even Mason Mount can play every match. He will relish coming home. If he doesn't, he's a fool. He needs to come back, play in the squad, learn from these guys, take his time and take them over. If he wants anybody to look at as an example, he's got Trevor Chalobah right next to him. He'll be fine.
Yeah. Ty, coming to you regarding the left centre-back position, I know you agree that neither Koulibally or Jules Kunde will be, none of the two guys will be a good replacement for Antonio Rudiger when he leaves. So how do we solve that problem, the left-hand side? Do you have any player in mind? Ty, are you still there? I think it's muting and unmuting there. While I wait for Ty, DJ, you go ahead and tell me, what do you think? Ty, you back? Go ahead, DJ.
Yeah, look, there's several defenders that we're linked with, and as Bobby said regarding Colwell, I believe, bring this kid home. I think I've seen enough of him to realise that he can come in and do a job at Chelsea, and he can be amongst the squad.
So you also believe he would want to come back?
I think if he doesn't, then obviously he doesn't care. All he wants to do is just play every week. Fair enough, I can understand that being a young kid, you want to play every week, but you're playing for a club like Chelsea Football Club. It's not like you're playing for a small club or whatever. You're playing for a big club that's going to be challenging next season on all fronts. Let's think about, maybe not the Prem, because obviously we're going to be rebuilding, but we've still got the Champions League, we've still got the FA Cup, and we've still got the League Cup to play. So for me, there is enough game time to go around for all these players to be played in next season, and I do believe we need to bring some of them back, and I think he could be one of them to come back. I mean, I'm also talking about Ian Maatsen, another one who could come back as well. He plays on that left side. He's another one who could come back as well. But in terms of the players that we're linked with, I understand Skriniar from Inter Milan's also been another one we've been linked with as well, who wouldn't be a bad buy either to come in as a centre-back. He's had an absolute terrific season for Inter Milan. I think he could come in and do a job for us as well if they were to sell him. He's only, 27 years old? I think he could come and do a job for us as well. But Koulibally, I think, would be good for the short term. Plus, he's got his international teammate in Mendy as well. So they'll already understand each other's game. So he could come in and do us a job for a little while. But for long term, no. Again, this other kid that we've linked with is the one I was talking about earlier on from Leipzig. He looks like a good prospect to come in as well. So we have got some options there. Kunde, another one, is a must for me as well. I think Kunde to come in and replace Christensen, would be an ideal one. He wanted to come to Chelsea last season. We all know that, but for some reason, that deal did not happen. So I would love him to come to Chelsea as well. So yeah, we have got options out there, Coach.
How about this kid? He played in one of the cup games. Lewis Hall,
yes. How about
I think what happened really, because he was brilliant in that game, and we were looking forward to see him in subsequent games, but that didn't happen.
Yeah, for some reason or another, I don't know why Thomas Tuchel didn't opt to go for him. I don't think he did anything wrong when he did come in. Maybe he just thought maybe he was needed more at the under 21 level team. I don't know. Maybe he was needed more there. I don't know. I think the other thing we also forget about, Coach, is another player that hasn't even made his debut at Chelsea, who we forgot all of a sudden we've forgotten about. And is Amiyamba. He's another centre back that could come in as well and learn from the likes.
Yeah, what has happened? We haven't heard. We haven't heard about him for a while.
Yeah, he picked up an injury, and then obviously he came back. He then scored a goal, I do believe, in one of those games he came back for. And then for some reason or other, I don't know what's happened to him since. I don't know, whether he's still there or what's going on. He's another player that could come in and learn from the likes of Thiago Silva and players like that next season. So we do have options there that can come and do things. I guess it's just a matter of giving them the opportunity to do that.
Yeah. Just quickly, here says this is True Blue, probably responding to Bobby. There are Nations League games June. Not sure how Kunde will play wing back. He is a centre back. Period. He's a centre back, but I think the way he bumps forward, there's a chance he looks like he can play in that position too. Musa Mfana Wani. Is that the player's name, or are you saying something in Swahili? I'm not sure. Let me know, brother. Losing Rudiger is the biggest L for us this season. I agree with you. that woman is a joke. I wouldn't say they call people names, but I get your argument. But how many years does Silva really have left? To be frank, the man is one of the wonders of the world. Benjamin Silva may be, but to play at that level at his age is, bound to drop. I think it has to do with his intelligence, his ability to read the game. Even younger players cannot outpace him. Why? Because you wouldn't even get a chance to run, to race against him, let alone outpace him. He'd be at the right place at the right time to stop you to even get a chance to race against him. That's why he's a special player, and his calmness makes a huge difference, not just for the defensive line. His calmness, you could say, it trickles down to every player on the pitch. Whenever the ball is coming to him, you can be rest assured nothing wrong will happen. Just Viola says that she got to go. Nice to see you again. You've been brilliant the whole day, and I appreciate you staying to this time. We'll round off in a beat. Again, Tobago says bye. And anything else to address here? I don't think there's one. Says that the biggest clown in football has renewed his contract with PSG. Who is he talking about?
Mbappe. He's no longer going to Real Madrid anymore. He's not going to Real Madrid. Finished.
So money. In fact, he's not living on the free. Yeah, they paid him more than probably Real Madrid will be able to pay them right now, because they haven't been able to do away with Gareth Bale. Eden Hazard is still there. So they still have a lot on the plate. So hit the like button, people. I think LSC, I'm going to come to you. Let me get LSC. You're still there, right, brother? I haven't. Please, your farewell to Antonio Rudiger, because every other person on the panel, I think DJ hasn't. Your farewell for Antonio Rudiger.
Yeah, I just want to wish him the best. He's been a servant for us, and a very great one at that. Though he did have, it wasn't, a smooth journey for him at Chelsea. He's been here about 5 years, about 5 good seasons.
Mm-hmm.
For that, he's been a good servant. Even when he thought all is lost, he never believed he was going to play for the club again, and his hope was restored. So I'm happy that, he's not going to be in the Premier League. So we don't have to face him every day, every single week. So I'm happy for that. I'm not happy that he's leaving though, but we have to move on. We've lost other players in the past that have been very nice to us.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to forget what he did, especially in the Champions League final, the tackle he made against Foden, and the way he confronted Amante of Leicester when he disrespected Chelsea. So I will never forget that that he translated, the celebration in the dressing rooms.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to see that one more time before he leaves, but fortunately it didn't happen. So I wish him the best at Real Madrid. I don't want him to be like another Hazard situation.
Mm-hmm.
I want him to do well, and except when they meet Chelsea.
Mm-hmm.
As a matter of fact, I want to extend the good luck right now to him so that Real Madrid beats Liverpool in the final. So I want him to take that luck to them.
Well, he takes the lot to them, but it's not going to count as one of the.
I know it's not going to count. I know. I just don't want those. I don't want a treble. I don't want a treble. Come on.
I totally understand. I totally understand. I'll come back to you again in a minute. Just one moment. Here says, we cannot allow Thiago Silva to play the amount of games this season, next season. Also, I want him to last longer at Chelsea. Overplaying him is not going to help us. Yeah. And again, I think I want him to stay beyond his playing career, even in the capacity of a coaching staff. I think that would do us a lot of good. Here it says, the wannabe LeBron James announced he's keeping his talent to Paris. Everybody is killing the kid. I said it before. He wasn't going to Real Madrid because I knew Madrid doesn't have the money, but PSG has. Another outstanding stream, coach. Really enjoyable. Talk again soon. Thank you very much, brother. I appreciate you sticking around. Farmers League Magent thinks he can win a Ballon d'Or at PSG. Again, Hall is an attacking midfielder played in emergency. Hello, I see you. Where is Ville or Webster or Dion? Again, thank you very much. LSC, coming back to you. What's your favorite Antonio Rudiger moment at Chelsea?
Like I did mention about, his tackle against Foden at the Champions League final.
Oh, have I asked you this question before?
No, you just asked me about
go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
to give a farewell and all that. So, that tackle was very, very vital. His constant attempt trying to score from a distance, and that's always fun to see. And he did made one. He made one at last. So I'm really, really glad, that he did that, because I just went crazy when that ball went in. So yeah. As for other issues, I don't think Tomori, can play that that position very well. I think Tomori is more in the
central area.
Yeah, central area. So I don't know. I just think, again, we have to be careful, not going for big names and not messing up the next season for Tuchel. So yeah, Rudiger's loss, I know, is going to affect a lot of people in that team, especially the Muslim brothers. It's going to affect them a bit because it's quite a character in the
and they have a good relationship. The whole team actually
have a good relationship. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you very much, Alice. I appreciate that input. I'm going to read through the chat, and Bobby, I'll have Bobby round off for us today if Ty doesn't have anything else to say. I hope Rudiger, that I love this one. I hope Rudiger smacks up Christensen's back at every classical. Not a fan of how AC is handling his last days and exit with Chelsea, but that's just me. Again, that I am with you. They say he's a snake. I say he's an anaconda. Tubercotua is the snake. Andres Christensen is the anaconda. DJ says, sorry, I had to go, everyone. My bro has just arrived. We'll chat to all again soon. Peace, everyone. Peace to you. I appreciate you finding time to join us here. Bobby was going to help us round off, but he just went out. I hope everything's okay. Maybe his phone went off. Again, 1 second, Ty. I'll come back to you. Money. I'll come back to you, Ty, in a bit. Money makes things happen. They told Mbappe will have a say when the team signs players. What is that? Also, thanks for having me. More thanks to you for finding time to join. I think it's been a brilliant show. And again, Mbappe playing his percentage just like somebody else. One's got his move, the other got a massive paycheck. My favorite Rudiger moment is definitely that tackle on Foden. Again, almost everybody says that because that would have changed the game equal of that. He scored in a goal in that final because Foden was definitely scoring, and he thought he had scored already. With Mbappe staying at PSG and Haaland coming to City, the young and Dembele likely to leave Barcelona. The Spanish league is going to be boring next season. So, Ty, you have anything to see? Let's say if Bobby comes back in to round up the show for us. If not, we'll just call it a day.
Yeah, well, I mean, for me, I just hope that everything goes the right way. Obviously, there has been certain things being confirmed, and I mean, I think I don't remember who said it. Until Todd Boehly it has been officially announced as owner, we can't really go too into discussing transfers really, but we can always have our little wish list or the players that we want to see come in. And I mean, it was a good discussion. It was a good stream, and I mean, obviously, people will come in and give their takes, and I mean, it's always good when you have people who disagree.
Yeah. Thank you very much for that. And with that, we've come to the end of the show. And please, if you haven't, look at the Twitter handle of everybody in the chat. Make sure to go on the panel to go follow them. Ty Talks, also check out his YouTube channel. Make sure to subscribe. Follow SE on Twitter. I'll try not to forget to add LSC's Twitter handle because that's not his Twitter handle. Again, but if you search LSC on Twitter, you see this picture, then you know you're looking at the good LSC, the correct LSC. Please do follow him. And again, of course, Chelsea perspective. Since Real Madrid didn't get Mbappe, they might go all out for Reece James or Havertz, and likely maybe they will give us half the stake of Real Madrid to get these people. I don't think Chelsea will sell Reece James. City waited and got Haaland on the cheap while attacking Marina. Again, good. That's a good comment right there. I think with that, we've come to the end of the show. I want to thank the True Blue goodies. Ryan, DJ Savi was on the panel. Tobago, Just Viola, who stayed 3 hours plus. And the added time podcast. Welcome to the show. I see it, and everybody else. If I missed your name, my apologies, because I'm only human. And I hope to see you guys tomorrow for another Blue Morning show. With that, I say thank you very much for participating. It's been a brilliant show. God bless us all, and bye.